very euphoric, generally. You're like, yay, I love the law. I love to study. Let's study for the bar, guys. Let's study for the bar. It makes you like happy to study. It's very strange. It says to fulfill, my job was to, why is my order keep getting rejected? Yo. Okay, I'm going to kill these people shortly. Okay, it says, what was your requirement? Your job? It was to fulfill every request exactly how he wanted it. He didn't take no for an answer. Did he ever describe how he viewed the team? He said, yeah, that we were like SEAL Team 6, elite, precise. Failure wasn't an option. Mr. Paul, were you ever fired during your time working for Mr. Combs? Yes, multiple times, actually. Multiple times, usually on impulse. I like this exchange. Can you give an example? One time it was over a Lululemon fanny pack, which I'd forgotten to bring along. He fired me on the spot. And what happened after that? Christina Karam pulled me aside and told me to just lay low. She said, keep a low profile and it'll blow over. Did it? Yeah. A few days later, I ran into him and he just said, just say hey. Like nothing ever happened. Here we go. She says, did he ever bring it up again? Nope. Never mention it again. If you had concerns or issues on the job, was there anyone in HR you could talk to? There wasn't really an HR process. If there was an issue, you rather went to Mr. Combs or to Miss Karam. Were you ever asked to purchase substances while working for him? Yeah, I was asked to buy thousands of dollars worth. What kind? Weed, powder, pink powder, X, and ketamine. Shows a photo to the jury. Mr. Paul, can you identify who this is? Or what this is? That's X and Tessie. You know, when I think of Tessie, I think of Badissi. Did y'all guys y'all use that term? Well, there's two kind of Tissies. My gay homies, hey, if you're in the chat, would talk about bussy. So that kind of sounds like Tissy, or like Tissy cat, I think they'd say. And then there is yeah, so they're talking about Tissy. So don't be lost, mermaid. What he's going over is he's talking about the different substances that under his job he was required to obtain. This is significant, y'all, because it goes to help prove the claim of substance distribution. Remember, it's pink powder is yeah, they call it Tessie. When I think of yes, I think of the old school deodorant that didn't really work. Tessie, I feel like Tessie was like for middle schoolers because you'd be stinking if you like a grown woman try to wear it. But Tessie also makes me think of Badissi and just stinkiness, right? Your Badissi wasn't really. You smelled Badissi, you're in the wrong place, boy. I tell you what, you need to get right up on out of there. Somebody needs to take a bath. Yes, I think of deodorant. They think it when they say Tessie, me too. Yes. So Ray, Al talks about, he calls it Tessie cat. Tessie cat. Oh, freshman, it's called Tusi. I don't want it to be Tusi. I want Tessie because it rhymes with a lot of other words that are. But thank you for your help, freshman. All right, let's keep going. All right, Paul, can you identify what this is? That's X and Tessie. It's a powder mix. Whoa. Tessie is 2C. Correction. There is Tessie, Tusi, Badusi. That's a separate thing. They're talking about literally, it's called 2C, which is a powder mix of ketamine and Molly. It says it was dyed pink for aesthetic purposes. How often did you purchase substances? Regularly. Combs like specific weed strains, King Louis and Sunset Sherbet. Did Mr. Combs ask you to personally use substances? Yes. He asked me to try some. And did you? I did. I wanted to prove my loyalty. Ooh. That's not good. I wanted to prove my loyalty. What happened when you looked at it? And by that's not good, I'm not saying necessarily for any particular side that's not good. It does support the whole organized crime common goal of extracting the ultimate loyalty where people would do whatever. But I also think that legally, it's very interesting that a common goal, a sufficient common goal, can be ultimate loyalty. But it makes sense because there's other what do they call it? There's like mafias and stuff like that where they absolutely require ultimate loyalty. What happened when you took the substance? I felt euphoric, but not the full effect. Did Mr. Combs ask you how it felt? All right. Let me put some more updates on this one. Man, that's a busy boy. Can you imagine? Like, I wonder at what point he realized he was the substance dealer. And let's go on over here. We're going to come on over to Inner City Press. He's saying, all right, so this is on Inner City Press. The update is this is an instance where Brendan the mule was instructed to set up a hotel room for a Wild King night. And he was instructed that Jane was on her way. They asked, what the hell? Sorry. Because my TV just decided to come on. Or I got a ghost. It says, where'd you make the reservation? Nobu. Where was this Wild King night? Jane's residence. I wrote, running to Walmart for them. KK asked, Wild King mode active or Gucci bag active? What did you say? I said, between the two. How did you know what to buy for Mr. Combs's Wild King nights? We had a shared document in the Notes app. Interesting. I actually had that with my ex-boyfriend and his kid. I had that for grocery lists. And the rule was you had to put whatever you wanted, you had to put it on the list by like that whatever the night was, by Sunday night, by 9 o'clock before you go to bed. If it's not on the list, I don't have to get it. And that was great because people would be like, you didn't get this such and such. Sure didn't. Wasn't on the list. Put it on the Notes app because Notes immediately updates in real time. It said we had a shared document in the Notes app. Who was responsible for the Astro Glide? The property manager. What? I didn't think the 200 South Mapleton manager was good. So then there's a photo. Why would a property man? Why would the property manager? Oh, no. Maybe property is in stuff. Or I don't know. Why would they be in charge of Astroglide? You got nothing else better for them to do? But maybe it was because, remember, he was buying them by the boatloads, by the caseloads. Perhaps it was because he would order so much and then they would be stored in the garage. That's where the feds found them. And now I realize the significance of the thousands of bottles of baby oil was to show how prevalent and widespread and non-personal were the freak-offs. Because you don't need 1,000 bottles of baby oil if it's just you and your girlfriend doing a do. Well, I guess was the implication. I don't know. Maybe you guys use a lot. It says, I took a photo of to show the manager how to lay out the Astroglide in her bathroom. How did you put in for the cash? Robin at TriStar. Did Mr. Combs contact you for Wild King nights? Yeah, by voice notes or FaceTime. Lawyered Up said, this is unbelievable. So the only lesson Diddy took from the Cassie lawsuit was to move the freak-offs from hotels to private residences. Did he get bad advice or did he just refuse to follow the good advice? That's always the question that I ask as a lawyer. Here we go. Brendan Paul, he says, oh, yeah. It said, did Mr. Combs contact you? Let me go back and check. Yeah. Oh, house man. Yeah, he might have been house manager or property manager. You're right. It said, how would he contact you about King Nights? By voice notes or FaceTime. He called me to go get a sex outfit, but he never called me back. How did you clean up after? I wore gloves. Why? Sanitary reasons? Like, duh. Sanitary reasons. Is this a photo of the day you were arrested? Yes. March 25th, rented jet. He said rented. He didn't own that one. I don't know why I don't know that. Wait a minute now. I know lawyers who own jets. Like Tony Busby has a jet. Maybe maybe his jet was busy or elsewhere. Oh, no. I know why. Diddy, the same day that Brendan Paul was arrested, Diddy was on a different jet, if I remember correctly. Yeah, because Diddy was not with them. It said, you don't just bring the box, you have to arrange it. Damn, y'all. Slide Astroglide. Shake that Astroglide. Look, guys, we're still doing pretty good with our Astroglide. Not that much has spilt out or been used. Shake that Astroglide. We're getting updated on the text. So right now we've got Brendan Paul on the stand. So far, what we've received from him is testimony about setting up freak-offs and substance distribution. His testimony is also supported kind of the structure and how the enterprise works, as far as he would take instruction from KK, the chief of staff, from Diddy, and would also coordinate and get reimbursed by security guard officer Fahim or others. He also referenced other substance dealers that he would obtain the substances for. And remember, for distribution, you don't have to sell it. It's giving it away or sharing it with more than just like one friend, right? It's on a more substantive level. Here we go. So we got this picture. Government exhibit 18211. I know he had to feel away, boy. I know his mama and daddy were unhappy. It says, yeah, he was arrested on the rented jet. It said the substance you were arrested with, or the powder that you were arrested with, was it Mr. Combs? Objection, sustained. Was it yours? No. Was it Mr. Combs? Objection, overruled. Let people answer a question. Dog. He said it was Mr. Combs. Key. That's key. But here's the thing, y'all. Here's the thing. This is why the defense, for what they've got and so forth, they are doing a phenomenal job with asking, and we're getting their objections in and winning the objection. It's one thing to object, but they object and they win. They have kept out some substantial information doing so. Let's just to trigger your memory on some of the substantial things that were kept out. Baby, with Captain, I want to call her Captain Clark. She's not. With CC, Capricorn Clark, multiple times they tried to get into evidence the fact that she received a settlement from Diddy, but it was a very low settlement. They objected, and the judge did not let her talk to the jury about the settlement that she got from Diddy in 2012. I actually believe that that was directly relevant, and that while maybe at the initial time she discussed it, they could object to it. Subsequently, on cross, they were implying that she went back to work or began to ask Diddy to come to him because she liked him as a boss. I think they should have allowed her to tell how much money that was, to say, no, when I settled before, I got very little and it was gone. And I needed to go back to work, and that was the only job available. So it's critical to paint the picture of her level of financial desperation. They kept that out. They kept out the amount that he offered to settle with Brianna Bonglin, the girl that was dangled. He offered her settlement. You don't do that under those circumstances if you knew that you never dangled the girl. And negotiated for over a month with old girl. No, he did that. Let's keep going. All right. What did you do after arrest? A diversion program, substance treatment. No further questions. Damn. So quick. I wasn't even ready. I haven't even put on my deodorant yet this morning. I did. Oh my God, it smells so good. Were y'all ready for that? Wait. Let me. If there's a mistrial or a hung jury, and the federal government will retry the case, does the immunity witnesses still have to testify at the new trial? It's still, the immunity isn't what makes them have to testify. The subpoena does. As long as they're testified again, yes, they'll have to. Great. You guys have amazing questions. I'm sorry, guys. Were you guys ready for that? It's over. Like, no. It's not the end of the trial. It's the end of the prosecution side. That was really quick. Yeah, there's cross, but I'm just process. Just give me a second. I'm just Yeah, the Lord told me that I should take my talents to Cancun. Maybe I'll find a husband here. There was a really nice guy in first class, black guy too. I love seeing black guys in first class. It was a really nice guy in first class in the plane. And my luggage, he saw me like with the luggage and he offered to put it up. And I was like, thanks. And he was like very friendly. And lo and behold, we're here for the same birthday trip. So I got in his car service and stuff. He's been very nice. Anyway, so somebody said, let him at, said that testimony's weak. Says, if it's a mistrial, I'll doubt they try this again. Yeah, I don't think so either. I don't think so either. The question is, are they going to lunch? Okay, let me see. Well, it's too early for lunch right now, but at some point there's, you know what? That's a great question. I don't know if they're going to lunch because trial is ending today at 1 p.m. Eastern. It says, no one offered drugs to staff unless they're a drug enterprise. You know what? Excuse me, Miss Deanna. Order in the court. That's an excellent point. Because what job have you ever had where they offer you drugs? And again, it could be the enterprise doesn't have to start off being unlawful. It could be a totally lawful one that does unlawful things. And that's generally very often what happens. All right. They'll have more questions on redirect. The chat's all oiled up. Real question. Aren't all employees expected to have a common goal, satisfy the boss? I'm thinking about the indictment indicating this needing to be met. Let's take a look at it. How about this? I'm going to start this comment. We're going to take a look at it after I make sure I'm all caught up on our tweets. That's an excellent question, ma'am. Lord, no further questions. Judge Cross, you walked on to play basketball at Syracuse for an iconic coach. Yes, you played at UNC, but COVID ended it. Yes. Oh my gosh, y'all. That's really sad. Can you imagine walking on to an amazing iconic team like Syracuse, beginning to build out this dream basketball career, and COVID literally terminating your college? Because what could you do? You could be like, well, I'll say I'm not in school, and wait till COVID comes back. Like COVID was taking people's eligibility years. That's kind of sad. You weren't a drug mule, were you? Objection, overruled. He says, I was not just that. It was a minor part of what you did. He said, absolutely. Personal use. Judge, rephrase. Ooh. Y'all, that's a good line of questioning. Go ahead, Ryan Still. So here's what we got. Somebody said, well, maybe he sucked at basketball. Any future trial has to be for other charges. No, that's not true. Double jeopardy is only if they made a ruling. So remember, double jeopardy, I may be misunderstanding what you're saying, but double jeopardy only applies if you're found guilty or not guilty, but it doesn't apply to a mistrial. Just to clarify. It was like happy hour every day. He's the cool boss that sees employees as friends. Yeah, this is messed up. All right, let's keep going. This was him once upon. Look at that! Oh my gosh! I bet he likes black girls. You know what, ladies in the chat? If you know, you know. I think I like black girls. I see you, Brendan. Too old for you, but I see you. You go ahead, Pookie. You look so handsome, Brendan. You look. Somebody send this to Brendan. If Brendan's your friend, you give him a little timestamp, whatever it is. I don't know what time it is. Tell him this. This older lady thinks you're just a handsome young man and you look very nice. And I'm sorry for saying that you look stinky. You did look stinky that day you got arrested, but you were a little frazzled. I mean, you've never been arrested before, locked up, but they let you out. And that's what matters. That was it. Okay, here we are. I love this line of questioning. He says, "You weren't a drug mule, were you?" And he says, "I was not just that. It was a minor part of what you did." Absolutely. Personal use, judge, rephrase. Because see, you can't say something like personal use because that's in this context a legal term. A lay witness can't and should not ever be asked to define like a legal term or legal issue. The hotel nights were personal, ? Objection, rephrase. It was Mr. Combs and Jane. Relaxation, personal, right? From your observation? Yes. Did you see Jane as hesitant? I did not. Very good. Go ahead, Brian Steele. Somebody said, is this a cigar humidifier? Oh, shoot, it is. Y'all didn't build the cigar humidifier with the baby oil. And put the oil up in it. That is exactly what, oh, that is some classy-ish, y'all. That's a real classy people. This is a really good line of question. I think they're going to be done with him before lunch. They're going to get out of here early at this route. And then we're going to, oh, yeah, this is a good one. This is a goodie. I mean, they are just, I love it. Rapid fire, keep it going. If you saw non-consensual activity, you would not have worked there, right? Objection, sustained. You would not work for a criminal, would you? No. Oh my God, that's excellent. Excellent. Cross-examination. You would not work for a criminal, would you? No. You care about your reputation. Yes. Somebody said, there's absolutely no one who could confirm victim this or that was hesitant, even if they genuinely were. That's true. The victims dated the boss. As such, they were obviously acting privately to employees, except a few like KK. Interesting. Yeah, Majesty wrote the cross. Oh my gosh. That was good. You wouldn't work for a criminal, would you? I mean, that's an example of when you ask a question where no matter what they answer, you're winning, right? Because if he was to be like, you wouldn't work for a criminal, would you? And if he says yes, you'd be like, oh, well, you can't be trusted. You over here committing, like you are trying to commit, like get out of here, buckaroo. Now somewhere with that, sir. We are. Here we go. Y'all, they wrapping it up, boy. It's something else. This is something else. Ooh, this is kind of raggedy. Here we go. All right, let's get an update. All right, so I'm your legal bestie, attorney Simone. Here is where we are at. Y'all, this has been quick. This has been quick. So what's been going on? Let's shift this back a little bit. It's a lot going on here. There we go. So what's happened so far is the prosecution has completed their direct testimony with Brendan, the alleged substance mule. I'm gonna get his little picture up here so y'all see Brandon. I mean, this poor guy. I don't know what. Oh, I don't know about this look today, y'all. This is what he got on. Oh no, Brandon, you shouldn't have did that now. Oh, y'all, I got to show this one to you. Oh, they done aged our buddy Brendan over here. They didn't put this little boy through way too much. Oh, here it is. Oh, baby. So that's Brendan, the alleged substance mule. And Brendan's on the stand now. They've completed direct examination of him. And the gist of what we've obtained was, I'd say it was primarily evidence of substance distribution of the RICO enterprise, how it worked, the fact that he get reimbursed for obtaining the substances. He get paid from Robin at TriStar, which is the business accountant that he would, there we go. Yeah, he looks wild. Yeah, he's supposed to be like 25 years old or something. This is a young man. Mm-mm. Yeah, he's like, I said Cassie was a star witness. But Brendan is supposed to seal the deal with this RICO. Do you guys feel in the chat that you have seen evidence supportive of RICO or not supportive of RICO based on his testimony? I want to see in the chat, what value do you feel like, if any, Brendan's testimony is providing? To the get up and leave people? That ninja that's laying on your couch right now, tell him to get up and leave. And somebody said a crackhead years, that's hella old. Does he think buying substances and using them is a crime? Does he think buying some? I don't know. Which he? If you mean Brendan, I guess that's the question. Yeah. Okay. I see some that it's supportive. Where are the wires paying this guy? Oh, Crystal, excellent question. So that was all covered. That actually was covered with what was called the summary witness earlier in the week. Kept falling asleep in Corey. I was in there. So what the summary witness did is just that. Crystal, excellent question. So the summary witness, there was a table that was created, and the prosecution had her on the stand, and they would put up exhibits, and the exhibits literally were text message exchanges and wires. And the exchanges were things like, it would be Brendan, Diddy, KK, and Robin at TriStar. Remember, he testified. Robin at TriStar would reimburse him and stuff for the drugs. So there were chains where he would be saying, hey, I paid this much money for these substances. I need reimbursement. And then they'd have to wait for Diddy on the chain to say approved or whatever. And Diddy would say approved. And then Robin would give him the money. So yeah, so that is those were supported, and those are included in that summary testimony that we got the other day. And they did that way for a reason, and that's to keep it organized for the jury, because there were so many. So the chart will have exhibit number, who all was on, like exhibit number, type of communication, right? Was it a text, email, voice note? And then it would say who all was on that chain. And then it would give a summary of the significance of it, like reimbursement for substances, or a highlight of the important text message part. Yeah, Tamika, we rated with heavy anticipation for this. That's what I said too. All right, let's see. I mean, Brian still is doing good, but like, I want him to see, witness him, off somebody, cut somebody's knuckles off. We don't have any of that. He says, okay, it says you were arrested for 27 grams, barely personal use. It was a mistake, right? Yes. And the case was dismissed. Yes. Did substances make Sean more focused? He got extremely creative. Hold on a second. Hold on. I'm trying to process this. You were arrested for 27 grams of coke. Y'all, that's a lot of powder. I don't really know how their grams are. You were arrested for 27 grams, barely personal use. I don't know what barely personal use means. It was a mistake, right? Yes. And the case was dismissed. Yes. Now let's be clear. The case was not dismissed because it didn't happen, or it wasn't dismissed because it was so little. It got dismissed because he was a first-time offender, and they knew the freaking deal. They knew he was toting that stuff for Diddy. As you sit here today, are you indebted to Sean Combs? He said, good experiences for the most part. No further questions. What? Baby, that was 47 seconds ago. Y'all. Okay, hold on, let me switch that over. Y'all, no further questions on This Is a Cross. Y'all, I'm about to go to the beach. I'm going to go to the beach. Yeah, we about to get in this water in a minute, y'all. All together. Y'all want to come to the beach with me? It's right over here. I wonder if you could see it as we're waiting. I'm like kind of shocked. So they're having a sidebar at the moment. What in the holy hay? What in the holy hay? I wonder if I could show you. Hold on, let me play with my camera a little bit. I'm playing with my camera, but I'm gonna. No, I guess I can't. Okay, there's a lot going on here at this desk. This is insane. Like, this is not a lot. I'm gonna say, oh my God, this isn't safe at all. People settle all the time and are not guilty. Yeah, you don't understand the facts. You don't know what you're talking about here. That doesn't make any sense. Pooh. People like Diddy don't negotiate for an entire month and offer a settlement if they didn't dangle. You sound crazy. Girl, that sounds crazy. That sounds crazy. Nope. He negotiated and had a team on it. No, they absolutely don't do it for something that never happened. If it never happened, you engage. And I'm saying they never do it. This was pre-litigation. They might do that after something gets filed with the courts. You don't do that pre-litigation. No, ma'am. I'm gonna have to use my legal experience and say I know that is true. People do settle all the time, but not on these facts. Absolutely not. When that happens, it's because the litigation cost. Here, Diddy was creating a litigation cost. There was no lawsuit filed. It was simply discussions with her, and it was a substantial amount that was offered. So no, you don't offer someone like $1 million or $500,000 for something that never happened at all. Can I look into Fat Joe? Yes, and I am. Okay, help me with this 28 grams. Thank you, because I'm not really good on my substances. Here we go. What is this? 28 grams. There are 28 grams in an ounce, 16 ounces in a pound. Okay. Do you have any idea how much that is when it's laid out in front of you? No, I don't. I'm sorry. I'm not a drug user. Teach me. 28 grams in an ounce. Okay. So what you're saying, 28 grams in an ounce. So that's like 1/16. Because it's 1 ounce, 16 ounces in a pound. It's 1/16 of a pound. I'm not doing no more. I'm not doing no more math. That's why I went to law school. Rico's been proven, but these testimonies are late. Agreed. Well, it's a lot. It's a lot. Okay, is that what you're trying to tell me? It's a lot. A small amount. I think it was a small amount, honey. I don't know. Take her to the hood, please. I want to go. Can someone take me to Detroit? I want to go to Detroit, and I want to eat something barbecue there. I don't know why I want to eat barbecue in Detroit, but I don't even know that they're good for that. And I would want to dance to live music. I want to dance with strangers. I was meeting all kind of strangers yesterday. I'm surprised I didn't get kidnapped. Lawyer fees cost more than to settle. Okay. You got to know what you're talking about, honey. That's not true pre-litigation. There's none of that pre-litigation. We're talking about pre-litigation. We're not talking about a trial. We're not talking about someone's filed a lawsuit. The issue was people are saying it never happened. And I'm saying one of the ways in which I know that it did happen, I don't think her date was correct, but I know that it did. The dangling incident occurred was because he had multiple staff negotiating with her, going back and forth and talking numbers pre-litigation. You do not do that for an event that never, ever occurred. You guys, you do not, you're wrong, flat out. I'm not even going to pretend you're wrong. Because when you've seen something like that, there's an issue where there's a fact issue. Like one person's like, well, I didn't hurt you. Or I didn't. But if you're saying, that's like saying, like there may be a car accident, right? And two people might be saying, well, you hit me. No, you hit me. All right, fine. Then somebody may pay somebody to make it go away. But if you're saying you hit me in that car accident and you're like, no, I was in Mexico that day. You don't settle pre-litigation. You're like, I was in Mexico and here is the receipt. Hello, does that make sense to anybody? If it truly never happened, if it never happened and he was on stage somewhere else. There is no effing way he would have spent a month pre-litigation doing all of this. This is supposed to be the best. Yeah. He was supposed to be the best. I think let me see if they're still on the sidebar. It's aggravating me. I'm going to get this clip up. I need to play you guys this clip. I need to play this clip. All right, here we go. I'm going to set it back up. I do. All right, so here's a clip real quick. I'm going to play for you guys again. This is last year. My thoughts last year. Don't ask me why I look like a Oompa Loompa orange, but this was clips from me last year. My thoughts on Brendan Paul. This was May of 24. Diddy did not get arrested until September of 24. So this is prior to the arrest, prior to any of this. We are waiting on the sidebar. As we're waiting, I want you to hear this. I'm gonna be ordering some breakfast on this little thing. Here we go. Where did it go? Here we go. So I'm gonna play this clip for you. And I want to know your thoughts. So this is me, my prediction on Brendan Paul's potential significance in this case. And now we have heard his testimony. Let's talk about it here.
I believe that the drug mule, is cooperating to give the feds any and everything that they need. And I also believe just by virtue of being a drug mule means you have seen some of the most illegal stuff possible, right? So let's think about this. And we also know that Diddy likes having dirt on people. So by Brendan being his mule, he probably feels like Brendan's not going to say nothing. He can't say anything because I have on him the fact that he's walking around and has toted all these drugs. Well, I feel like them finding drugs, them as in the feds finding drugs on Brendan at that airport, the Opelika airport, was the biggest gift to the feds. Here's why. The plea deal he took yesterday, it was a felony. He was a first-time offender. He had no priors. And the plea deal that Brendan received, he gets probation, no jail time whatsoever. It's going to be 6 months. He's got to take some type of drug class, and he's all done. So a friend of mine was like, I don't think he flipped. I said, why? He said, I don't think he flipped because it was such a low-level offense, he'd have no need to flip. That's what they want you to think. You're right. It was lower level, although it was a felony. Number one, you have to remember, you can always get charged harder. That happened at an airport. So he may have made that deal with the state prosecutors. The feds can still charge him. He could get charged with something for having drugs on an airplane, right? What I believe likely happened, and is more likely, is that the feds came to him and probably said, hey, you got this sweetheart deal over here by the state, but the states aren't the feds. We can charge you with much more, including we can charge you with a RICO offense. If you don't tell us everything you know, everything you've seen, names, numbers, dates, times, because what he can negotiate with his lawyer is that in exchange for that, because of the fact that it was lower level, he would be the best kind of person to give a deal to. Because if you have to put somebody on the stand to rat out everybody else, you want somebody who's going to be more sympathetic to a jury. Who would be more sympathetic than this little white boy, first-time offender, who's been manipulated by this big black mogul? So I say that to say that Brendan is likely working with the feds, has worked with the feds, will continue to, because not only is it beneficial to him, because he can get complete immunity. And if I was his lawyer, we would only be speaking under the terms of complete immunity, and I will point them all out. I'm going to give you all these people. And also the fact that because he was the drug dealer, he's seen the slimiest of the slime, the worst of the worst. Rico's not held anyway in either of the Georgia cases.
Oh God, I do this every time. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Lord have mercy. Thank you. Let me pull this down. Yeah, I was ordering my breakfast. Sorry, guys. I didn't want y'all to hear all that because I had to fuss them out a little bit. Is this, I don't know, is this a second world country or first? Because sometimes it's stuff to be going on at these places where I'm like, this is just really ridiculous. But we are going to, yes, I am back. All right. I'm going to start all over. Let me tell you. Someone was like, is she showing us that she can be fooled by the media? I don't know, y'all. How was I fooled? Tell me. What the media tell me? At the end of the day, it didn't look like I was wrong. All right. Right. It said, okay, he got a deal. But what did he ultimately give? Based on that testimony and those questions, can they get enough from him? Did they get enough from him? Oh, I think you mean like to make it be worthwhile of what he gave. And I would say, yeah. The reason why is because at the end of the day with the RICO enterprise, so many people are like, everyone should be charged with them. Are you crazy? Critically think. For people that say that, I'm like, there are lawyers, and I'm not, nobody's like dumb for saying it, right? Lawyers are saying that. Like, I watched this video of this lawyer who's supposed to be Drake's lawyer, and that man, I was like, first of all, sir, you clearly have not been following the case because your understanding of the facts are not accurate. But more so here and with others, it's like yes, they got more than enough from him. The reason I say they got more than enough from him is because he's not the he's not the ringleader. You have to think about who has the power and who's running this. Because if you don't stomp out the person that's running it, it's just going to continue with other employees. Look at all the different assistants that have come and gone. Brendan himself testified. First, there was 5 assistants, then 4, then it went down to 2. So you locking up all the assistants isn't going to prevent the growth of the enterprise. You have to get the leader of the enterprise. Why do people think, oh, it says, can the government withhold charges for evidence that they found investigating this case and charge Diddy later for something new and different? So the question is, no, right? Anything that resulted from these occurrences and these actions, they need to charge, but it would need to be like, if they did not have sufficient proof of something where the statute of limitations has not expired, that would be okay. So for example, if there was a person that he was alleged to have assaulted during this time frame and the government saw some evidence of it, but it wasn't super strong, then they could later charge him once someone else comes out or something stronger. But they're supposed to present to the grand jury all of the charges that they reasonably believe that they can prove. Hey, Diddy Docket. It says, do I think any of the 2D sealed documents are indictments for co-defendants? Good question. Well, so the answer is going to be no, because it wouldn't be relevant to this case. And only relevant evidence, right, can be admitted. However, they have multiple times referred to co-conspirators. I love the Diddy docket. And let me just double check. You know what? Diddy docket, we finna hop up into it. I don't see, they're still on this sidebar. Let me see. Oh no, I think we just got something new. Okay, there, I'm back. I'll get into it. But what I will tell you is that I don't believe that any of the sealed indictments are the indictments of the co-defendants, but I do believe the co-defendants have been, they are still sealed indictments due to the fact that would also explain why they have not been called, specifically KK. As I processed it, I was like, wait a minute. You cannot call, like this, the government cannot call KK if she's a co-defendant. Why? Because every co-defendant has the right to plead the fifth. And if that co-defendant were to get on the stand, she would waive her right. So if KK gets on the stand in Diddy's trial and KK is a co-defendant, she waives the right to plead the fifth in her own trial. So the government would not be able to, like, for example, the government could not subpoena a co-defendant and have them take a stand. You can't. Well, they could, but she would just say, I plead the fifth, I plead the fifth, I plead, and then that would look ridiculous. So the judge wouldn't allow that. In other words, it makes sense that she has not been called, and now she has not been called by the prosecution if she is in fact one of the sealed co-defendants, because you cannot do that. Think about it. If they were both sitting there as defendants in a trial, it would be the same as the two of them sitting there as defendants and the prosecution saying, well, I know we got two people here on trial, Diddy and KK. KK, we know you're a defendant. Go ahead, get up there, take the stand. We got to ask you some questions. KK will be like, what? You can't do that. You can't force anyone, even if it's as your witness, you can't force someone to be a witness who is a sealed co-defendant. Who would I call as my first witness for the defense? Not Vashta. They're supposed to be calling this woman named Dashta. Currently, they're calling a woman Vashta, who's like their HR. So she's part of the enterprise because she would retaliate. Oh, correction. The defense is calling them because they believe that she's helpful. Perhaps she's going to help show that some of these things that happened were simply personal use, personal things, not part of the enterprise. So I'm not exactly sure. All right. Why hasn't KK been arrested? Why would she be? Because she's a co-conspirator. Why would she be? I think they're saving her. Because here's the thing. The feds play chess, not checkers. The way the feds have structured it, she can't even get up there and testify to save Diddy. Because you know she would. She can't do that. She could. Legally, she could. But she then would subject her own self to charges. So the way they have basically neutralized KK. Since KK decided she don't want to cooperate with them, they said, cool, you're not finna help Diddy. That's what we're going to ensure. By making her a co-conspirator, the minute she hits that stand for Diddy, if she would, they're able to get her testimony and lock her in for all the crimes. For all the crimes. I don't think they're stupid. I just don't think they have to try hard for you. Just like any other job. Okay, gotcha. All right, let's go back to these tweets. Okay, so we got some updates. All right, it looks like we're going to wrap up today okay, since they're back. Did you know what was happening in the Wild King Nights? Objection, rephrase. Were you there? No. What did you think the $5,000 was for? Objection, sustain. That objection was because it would have caused for speculation. Did you give Mr. Combs $5,000 cash in another context? No. As in, like, aside from a king night? No. You said you wouldn't work for a criminal, but you bought drugs from Mr. Combs. Yes. More than 5 times, but less than 10 times. Y'all, do you feel like that's more personal? Or the fact if you tied your enterprise more than 5 times he did it, but less than 10. Now, of course, this is just one person, but still. He says, how do you feel about Mr. Combs? It's complicated. No further questions. No recross. There you go. You may go, Mr. Paul. Well, let's see if that wraps it up for the day. Ooh, don't call no more goddamn summary witnesses. The government may call us next witness. First, some exhibits. Reading text between Combs and KK. 525. Combs. I can't take it no more. Album not done. You can have a release after the studio. Oh, this is April 25th of 23. It says you can have a release after the studio. We control our energy. She says, whatever. Give me Frank. Frank was what? I think Frank was one of the substance dealers. Frank was a butler. It's gonna be one more of the summary witnesses. Child in that courtroom, them summary witnesses be making me Fall straight to sleep. I think it ties that no recross. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. I think it ties that no recross explain. Oh, yeah, yeah. No recross because there's nothing more to clarify. Let me go back to those tweets just so I can do it in context. So the thing of it is, when you do, so there's direct and then there's cross. If you recross, you're supposed to, I'm sorry, if you redirect, you're supposed to focus on what was covered in cross. So if he was going to recross, he would need to focus on something, one of this quick little interchange about the 5,000 and working for a criminal. So they ended on how he said it's complicated. That's fine. She didn't need to give him the opportunity to expand in any way about how he deep down kind of loved Diddy or whatever the heck. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. All right. While this summary witness is doing this, all right, I'm going to go ahead and start on KK. I think it's going to be a quick day today. I don't understand the feds taking assets or money. Ooh, okay. Absolutely. I'll explain. Let's make this adjustment. Assets and money only to auction off for next to nothing. What's the point? Punishment. So they want to cripple, and it's not just that. They use it to fund, like, I don't know, it could be, they use it to fund victims' funds. Money can also be held for victims. So he's still got, God damn it. Sorry, guys, it's my do not disturb needs to come on. If he's still got pending civil lawsuits and stuff, it all won't just, just go superfluously. But they have like different funds that they go to, but the sole thing is to punish you. Because think about it, with Bernie Madoff and stuff, those people were jumping off buildings because they couldn't survive poor. They were more upset at the seizure of their assets than the criminal time that they were getting. They could do the time if they could come back to the millions. And so I think a large part of it is you take away, you got to take away the money to cripple the organization as well. Because as we know, this is America. Money talks. Sorry, guys. Yeah, they're crooked and the victims probably would get a fraction. Yeah. Somebody said, you know why? It's consequences. Yeah. Yeah, court is supposed to be over at 1 today. Yes. All right. So where the term drug mule comes from, if it's more than 5 but less than 10. Oh, great question. Oh, honey, you don't remember. This was from Lil Rod. Tyrone Blackburn. Bless his heart, he got sued. Okay, he filed a lawsuit against somebody that was alleged victim of Fat Joe. So I'll get into that later, maybe this weekend. But so Tyrone Blackburn represented Little Rod, who sued in civil court, sued Diddy. And he was the one that had the whole petition where he claimed that Gina and Daphne Joy were, quote, little sex workers, little S workers for Diddy. And that Carisha and others would get his pink powder. And he specifically referred to Brendan as the drug mule. And what was extra crazy is that petition was written and that was filed in December of 23, December of 23 into January. And then after that was filed, like 2 or 3 months after, Brendan gets arrested for substances. Is there a way Diddy can protect his assets? No, for his children. I want to be clear. No. But here's the T. Here's the T on that. So the answer is legally, no, you cannot protect your assets from seizure from your kids because it's all based on how did you get the money, right? And every dime comes from some enterprise. Oh, yeah. And here's the thing. It doesn't matter if this was a legitimate enterprise, but this one wasn't. The way that they got it structured from the petition, all of them are considered bad guys. But the one saving grace is this. Now, I'm gonna say it. Other creators are gonna say it and they're gonna act like they said it for the first time. Just feel free to just like go in their chat and be like, oh yeah, my legal bestie told me that. Which is his only saving grace to protect his funds is a pardon. But it has to be very specific. So here's how pardons work. Generally, pardons on the federal level can only be given by the president. This is a federal case. Man upstairs, the orange man, he has the ability to do it. I don't like saying his name on my videos because it pushes it into political talk, and this is not. He can do it if and only if, because generally pardons are just for criminal stuff. They do not cover civil penalties associated, and a civil penalty is like the seizure of his assets, unless the wording of the pardon specifically says it. So that means he could absolutely get his stuff back if the seizure and sale have not been completed at the time of the pardon, and the pardon has to specifically have language that says both pardoning for this activity and demanding the return of all of his stuff. That is what would make Diddy a whole happy camper. And that is now where Diddy is going to dedicate his assets to. So if he's convicted on any of these charges, he's now going to re-strategize to focus on appeal and to focus on a pardon, and a pardon specifically that's going to ask for the return of his, yes, it is a Hail Mary. Oh, so Brian, there was this sweet person in the chat from, I don't know where, they were from another country, and they were like, I'm a Catholic and it really offends me when you call it a Hail Mary. I was like, I'm sorry, it's American football. I don't know what to tell you. Hail Mary. Real life Nino from New Jack City. What about the many assets currently in the name of Janice? Well, now why would the name matter? Come on, guys. Name don't matter. It doesn't matter. They know that these are criminal organizations. They put stuff in other people's name all the time. Shoot, my auntie, she used to put all kind of light bills in my cousin's name. So the point is, it's about where the assets come from. And the more that you do stuff like that, the more likely you can get caught up in wire fraud and other charges like that. So that ain't gonna help them. One of the houses is supposed to be in the daughter's name. It don't matter. Don't nobody care. What about the many assets? They're putting immunity on them to make them testify. Yeah, they're not asking for it. That's true. To punish him, why would they let him go? How did the enterprise benefit? They don't have to benefit. Oh, how did the enterprise benefit from this freak off? Okay, sorry, I misread your question. It wasn't the enterprise that has to benefit. It's Diddy. So, and it doesn't have to be a benefit. So we gotta restructure our language to fit the law. It's common goal. Doesn't have to be a benefit. Common goal. And the common goal, one of which is his fulfilling his actual desires. Let me go ahead. I'll put that document right on back. Ooh, I got it. Here we go. Come on, we're gonna do this together. We family. Let's take a look at it. These are, make a little adjustment. There we go. Somebody said force them to work. It says, I think it's the income between, it would be 09 to present, or at one point well, here we go. This is the indictment here. Let's look at the time frame. Uh, 2004. Look here, it says the enterprise from 04 through 2024. Y'all, that's now. That's forever. That's all of it. That's all of it, y'all. Any monies from the last 20. All right. And then, but let's go to that little funky section. Purposes of the enterprise. Because remember, it just has to be a common goal. Purpose, common goal, that's the same. Was A, preserving a global business in the media, entertainment, etc. Preserving, protecting, and promoting, enhancing the power of Diddy, etc. Enriching members and associates of the enterprise. I'm gonna pull down this comment just so we can see a little bit more here. It says, and the one was, gosh, my vision is bad. It says, oh, enabling members and associates of the enterprise, including its leader Combs, and in particular, those who demonstrated loyalty to him and willingness to conceal his crimes. These are purposes, it says. Purposes also include preserving, protecting, promoting, and enhancing the power of Combs, fulfilling the personal desires of Combs, enabling Combs and other members and associates of the enterprise to engage in unlawful acts of violence, and securing absolute loyalty. That's G there. Securing absolute loyalty from members and protecting the Combs enterprise and its members, associates, including Combs, from detection and prosecution by law enforcement. So really kind of the unusual or oddest ones, I think, here are the what is that? E, fulfilling the personal desires of Combs is one of the common goals that they had, purposes that they have to satisfy under the law, providing proof of, as well as securing absolute loyalty and protecting the Combs enterprise. Boom. Right there in black and white. Oh, wait, Poppy. I got to see this. Possibly a mistrial. Jane's testimony changed my mind about his guilt. Can you tell us more in the chat? Y'all, I had serious concerns and issues with Jane's testimony. And I feel like what you're going to say is probably consistent with that. How did Jane change it up? Did Jane make you feel like he was or was not more guilty? Somebody said, so I can see my boss. The government doesn't take into consideration the legal jargon is not going to be new. I agree. Let me see. Well, someone was saying they don't take into consideration the wording, or that this is going to get lost with regular jurors. And I have to say, you're right. So what happens is that's where jury instructions are critical, because the jury instructions are supposed to break down and very clearly both put, this is what the law is, put that in words, and then put the facts below it so that they can evaluate the law based on the facts that were presented. Did the prosecution take into consideration? Yeah, the legal jargon is not going to be landing well with everyday people. I'm looking at the case through my everyday. That's what I said. That's why I said we got some problems here. I said, why y'all put Jane up there? That's not going to land with the everyday person. We also got some challenges, for example, with the kidnapping. I believe Capricorn Clark with the kidnapping. I also believe she was blackmailed. However, I can understand an everyday juror having difficulty seeing it necessarily as kidnapping, considering she came back to work on Monday. Yep. Javier Mellon said, wait a minute, protecting an enterprise is every employee's job. That's true. That is true. Wait. Did I think, okay. Did I like Brendan's testimony better than Jane's? Well, it depends on what the goal was. I think Jane's testimony really helped the defense. I think Brendan's testimony reinforced what was established by the prosecution. Here's one of the issues with Jane's is that he's not going to get a day more if he's found guilty of whatever Jane claimed. He would not get a day more for that than whatever he gets for Cassie. Because there's no version of people, and I think we can all agree here, which sometimes is rare in life. There is no version of a jury that would find him guilty of what happened with Jane, of that being S trafficking, and finding him not guilty of what happened to Cassie. You see what I'm saying there? I think we can agree on that. Cassie's facts were far stronger. Yeah, hit that like button and hit that subscribe too. Cassie's facts were much, much, much stronger. So if he's going to be found guilty of any of the two, it would be Cassie's. So I say that to say Jane isn't helping. I mean, I feel like Jane's testimony was just talking more about her freak offs than her particular situation. But I don't think that she necessarily helped prove up anything in support of the other claims that were there. You don't need to speak with the prosecutor 27 times to tell the truth. No, that's not how. Oh, I'm so glad you mentioned that. 27 times to tell the truth. Maybe to get your story together. No, that's kind of like not how it works. So by speaking, it's not all in person. There can be phone calls. I speak to my clients 27 times before we get ready for trial because it means phone calls. There's going to be times where it's a clarification. There's a lot of evidence that was submitted. And the evidence goes to the investigators. The investigators kind of organize it. Then it goes to this paralegal level. Then it goes to the lawyer level. So I think the defense did a great job. This is in reference to Mia. Mia testified that she spoke with prosecutors approximately 27 times prior to this and spoke to the defense, not any. It's normal that people don't hit that subscribe, guys, as you come in. It's normal that witnesses don't talk to the, what you call it? That the witnesses don't talk to the defense. Because if you're a prosecution witness, you're generally like scared of the other side or what have you. Hold on. I need more mimosa. I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. I've been having a really hard life. And for real life, I've been having a hard life. And I'm on vacation stuff while I'm working. But so with me, so what I wanted to just clarify is that's actually not an unusual number because it's not, if it was one-on-one in-person meetings, that's weird, right? But it's phone calls, it's looking through evidence, it's looking through documents, like what was the exchange? What was the backstory here? Because what happens is there's no way, like you don't sit down and be like, okay, tell me your whole life story. They have specific questions that they ask you about in each instance. And it's also, remember, it's a rolling basis because they're going to get more evidence. They're going to get text messages from other people. And then they're going to send you a message that's like, wait, I saw this text message from someone else. Tell me what this is talking about. Were you around in this time period? Did you know about this? So that's why it's 27. But I agree with you. It looks crazy. I think ultimately your point is like, that sounds crazy. And it does sound crazy. But y'all, guess how many times KK likely met with the prosecution. Let's talk about it. Put my little banner up. Let me talk about Miss Thing. I'm gonna get it on the screen first. Okay, we're gonna talk about her. Like that lady's got to be in hiding. She's gotta be. That's not what she don't want that outfit showing. Right, here we are. I mean, who could she Diddy? Nobody. Here we go. Before we do that, I just want to make sure we're all caught up. This was just, hold on the tweets. God, I think it's gonna be more of the freaking boredom. All right, here we go. Oh, yep. Wait. We gotta go back to these tweets. Hold on. We got an update. Oh, I got some super chats. Hold on. Okay, thank you, Terry. It says by next Friday, leave the phone in the car, or do we turn the phone in that courthouse? And Diddy is going to jail. We know he's a monster. Wendy Ben told us by next Friday. I'll leave my phone in the car, or do we turn the phone in at the courthouse? I turn it in at the courthouse, and Diddy's going to jail. I'm definitely going to be. Here's what I don't want. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I think when we're doing verdict watch, I think I want to watch it with you guys. I don't think I want to do it at the court. I want to watch it with you guys, and then I might like go down to the courthouse because I'm still in New York. I'm there for the month. But I think I want to like literally like watch it and everything with you guys because I really want to talk about Oh, thank you, Bree. I'm so sorry that I missed this. Thank you for the super chat. It says, if all these messages were in WhatsApp, would they still have a case? Being that they advertise, no one can read the messages. Not even the WhatsApp organization. Just asking. Great question. Bree's talking about, all these text exchanges. Great question. I don't know. All the drug dealers I know use WhatsApp. That's how we communicated prior to the statute of limitations. Or when the statute of limitations was expired. Yeah, I don't know. Because I'm thinking about all the cases that I've done where we've done phone extractions. I've never seen WhatsApp extractions. So I had to Google that. Seen any trials that had WhatsApp extractions? Y'all, I'll be mixing my Sprite and my OJ. Don't ask me why. I'm ghetto. I told y'all. I love y'all. Y'all got some really great questions. All right. We also got Brittany. Hey, Brittany. Can the government we talked about that one. Can the government withhold charges that for the stuff they found investigating this case and charge Diddy later? Yep. And it's all about the statute limitations. Go Parker. Please explain the boss's request of loyalty. Thank you. A boss's request of loyalty cannot be illegal. So the answer is this. Loyalty is one thing, but loyalty, even through crimes, would be the problem. So a boss can say, for example, look, I don't care. Let's even say it's a record label. Look, you work for Bad Boy. You better not be running around with those people at Republic Records or, excuse me. Ooh, that water looks gorgeous. Like, you work for Bad Boy. You cannot be running around with none of the artists at our competitors. You cannot be, I don't want to see you on social media with them. I don't want to see you at their concerts. None of that. That's like an example of loyalty. You could do that. But what you can't do is say, look, whatever you see goes down here. If you see a crime occur, don't you tell the police. Don't you do any of that. The issue is the level of loyalty through crimes is the part that could make it illegal, or that does make it illegal. Thank you for asking. All right, Terry, thank you for the super chat. Okay, we talked about this one. Yeah. Yeah, here we go. All right. The updated tweets. It says, the government may call its next witness. First, there's some exhibits. Combs saying, I can't take it no more. The album's not done. And mind you, this was in April of 23. Oh. Huh. This was in April of 23. In June of 23 was when he was at the BET Awards and shouted out Cassie, June or July. So I guess he was trying to get that album number. I don't nobody remember that album. Don't nobody care. I don't think he realizes like he's not that great of an entertainer. He's more, we like his artists, but like I don't think anybody's been like, man, I gotta go to a Diddy concert. Unless it was like the Bad Boy reunion. It says, play the audio message by Mr. Combs. Combs' voice. Have Jonathan do it. Miss Karam replies, John will go to hotel. We have a bit more. Then we request a break. Okay, a message is shown on the screen involving Veronica Bangs and then taken down. AUSA, reading. Miss Ventura says, you bash my head in. Combs says, you're crazy. Stop talking. Flipping on me for what? We're taking a break? Question mark. I don't want to be beaten down for standing up or ever. I try to figure out how to get this nut out. What? Ew. You try to figure out how to get your nut out by whooping up on her? What? Still reading. No witnesses on the stand. Miss Ventura says, all I wanted was to have a good time, and you took all your anger out on me, per usual. You dragged me down the hall by my hair. This is not play fighting anymore. I was serious about Rita coming over. Oh, who is Rita? So this is not play fighting anymore. Boris had to tackle you, Puff. That's not love. That's possession. I have bleeding cuts. I'm not going to let someone SHIT on me when all I've done is be nice. You don't treat me like the king. You was acting like a bee. So he's still trying to justify that beat down. This y'all's king. This y'all's king. Huh? This y'all's homeboy. Hit that subscribe, guys. He is literally, I'm going to reread that because maybe I misunderstood. Combs responds when she's like, this is after bleeding and dragging her down the hotel hall. He responds, he said, I'm not going to let someone SHIT on me when all I've done is be nice. You don't treat me like the king. You was acting like a bee. What? Cassie says, talk to your people and they'll tell you. Or they won't, since all they do is suck your D. I asked to have my record come out after 1,000,000 years, comes as Gary goes. I would like to read other portions of those exhibits, right? And that's been their strategy, guys. Side note, that's been their strategy when the government's witness is like putting into the record verbally certain chats. The purpose of this is to put it in the minds of the jurors. And then when the jurors get the transcripts and when they go back there, they can say, oh, wait, there was a text message about this kind of exchange. And they can ask for those components and be able to quickly find that evidence. What the defense has simply been trying to do is whenever the damning stuff comes out, they'll present expansions or other messages where Kathy's saying something loving or about how much she loves or adores him. It doesn't change the fact that in that moment, her concern was whatever that concern was. All right, AUSA for Miss Ventura and Mr. Combs. Yeah. She said, oh, I want to read other portions of it. May I confer with Miss Garagos? Of course. We need a break. 2 minutes ago, of course, they're on a break. Chop, chop. All right, up. Here we are. Imagine your personal assistant suing you for doing things that benefited you. Literally their job description. Ooh, Kiba, what kind of things are you talking about, huh? Why help the government when it's a clear reach on all charges? How many people are organizing their boss's actual encounters? When was this a normal part of employment? The amount of people laughing and making jokes about this are making the abnormal normal. Ooh, great point. Yeah, you know what? Peppy says, I'm sure the IRS flagged Diddy, paper trail. I'm shocked there wasn't any form of a wire fraud. Oh, I think I know why though. Hold up. Oh, I'm so smart. Because the TriStar. That's the one. This almost could be like a little ghetto commercial for TriStar if they want to recruit more drug dealers. Here's why. TriStar is the accounting company that Diddy used. They would be on, one of its workers would be on text exchanges or text chains when he would be approving the purchase of substances and all kind of stuff. Yeah. I think the reason, more specifically, sorry. Stand thing. Sorry, guys. It's driving me crazy. I'm in a hotel, so I'm like having to adjust stuff. This is weird. But I was going to say, yeah, I think the reason he didn't get wire fraud is he has great accountants. His accountants were paying the taxes. Wire fraud generally comes from a form of some type of tax evasion, generally. Excuse me. Or financial crimes. He pays his taxes. He's got all that stuff lined up. So that was a huge saving grace. Well, when jurors get the instructions, ooh, thanks, T Princess. It says the government proves so much through Brendan Paul. Yeah, the drug distribution, clear as day, helping with the King Knights. It's over for Diddy. Where's the star witness? Where is the minor? Listen. Well, we knew there weren't going to be minors from the indictment. And hold on, un momento. Sorry, my room service. Un momento. Good morning. Okay, they're doing that. Yes, come on in. Gracias. And you can take that para llevar. Yeah, thank you. I said they should be televised. So, here's the thing. Are we also? I feel like we're all wondering, where are the minors? Where are the minors? Where was the testimony of the lace drinks or of the baby oil with substances that would get in your skin and make you do things you weren't planning to do? You know, all those little sexy parties that he had. And nobody, excuse me, nobody was, oh, I look like an albino. Sorry. Nobody was testifying to any of that. So I think for a lot of people, hold on a second. For a lot of people, it was like, hold on, this is not what they were expecting at all. And that's why they feel like this was overcharged. This was trumped up. This was not at all what it was like made up to be. And a large part of that, y'all, comes from Tony Busby. Remember, Tony Busby was the Houston lawyer who sat up there. Yes, that's everything. Excellent. We're just going to say. Okay. Oh, can I have the ketchup? Oh, is there ketchup right there? Oh, perfect. Great. You're good. Thank you. Yes. That's it. Thank you. You too. Good day. Sorry guys, I had to do a vacation because I was losing my mind. For Juneteenth, I'm celebrating Juneteenth. But I think it was Tony Busby that came out and he said he got over 3,000 calls and that he was taking like 125 clients. Actually, I'm gonna play the video for you. What he was saying, what Tony Busby said, that really was what made people think there was kids. Tony, oh yes, Busby, ooh. Busby was the first person to start saying that children were involved. And that's what everybody was saying. Where are the kids at? Where are the kids? Oh, hold on. I have a reel about that. Hold on. I'm gonna play that one for y'all. Because people keep commenting on it. And I'm like, where is it? Here we are. Yeah, I'm gonna play that one for y'all. Because I was like, where? I said, what? Oh, here it is. Here you go. So I can put this one up. Yeah, we're gonna go. This is what made people believe that there were children involved, and there was so much more to the allegations that there was drugging of people without their consent and da da da, and we didn't see none of it. Now I'm gonna play this clip. Hang on. Where did it just go?
And here's a breakdown from today's press conference regarding Diddy and the 120 new victims. The Busby law firm has said that they will represent people for no upfront costs who were victims of Diddy. In response, they received calls from 3,000 victims. Of those 3,000 victims, they are representing 120. Of those, half are men, half are women. 62% are African American, 37% are white, and the remainders are Asian or Latino. 55 of those victims reportedly either filed police reports or they went to the hospital and received hospital reports. Of those 120, approximately 25 are minors. The youngest victim is 9 years old. His parents met with Diddy because Diddy was offering to give him a music contract, and then he abused the boy. There was also a 14-year-old boy where Diddy offered to give him a music deal as well and said that he needed to speak to him privately in another room, and that in that room, he asked the boy for fellatio. I'm attorney Simone, your legal bestie, and here's a breakdown from today's press conference regarding Diddy and the 120 new victims. The Busby law firm has said that they will represent people for no upfront costs who were victims of Diddy. In response, they received calls from 3,000 victims. Of those 3,000 victims, they are representing 120. Of those, half are men, half are women. 62% are African American, 37% are white, and the remainders are Asian or Latino. 55 of those victims reportedly either filed police reports or they went to the hospital and received hospital reports. Of those 120, approximately 25 are minors. The youngest victim is 9 years old. His parents met with Diddy because Diddy was offering to give him a music contract, and then he abused the boy.
I think that man was lying. I think he was lying, y'all. Let me clarify. Sorry, I had to eat some. I was supposed to have breakfast a long time ago. So remember, this is part of why everybody is like, there's no case here, guys. It's because prior to any this, let me see, what was the date on this? What was the date?
I'm Attorney Simone, your legal bestie, and here's a breakdown from.
What was the date on this? Oh, okay. October. Yeah, this was right after his arrest. But here's the thing. I'm going to tell you right now. Maybe he wasn't lying. Maybe his victims, the alleged victims, were lying to him. Somebody, wait. Coco Melon said he was lying. Simone, a lot of these lawsuits against Diddy are being thrown out and so forth. Here's the thing. I really feel like I would be surprised if there are other adult victims out. But this kid stuff, trust me, the government, I hate when people say trust me because it's like, why do you have to preface that? There's no way that the government would have, if there were children involved, that would have been at the forefront. It would have been the forefront of these charges, of the allegations. There's no evidence of any of the children. That was some trumped up stuff that old boy came up with. And I think that part of the narrative is going to be that Diddy is going to use those types of things to say, everyone is just trying to pile on him, when that's just not the case. It says, so many people here don't understand the law and the evidence and how it all connects. It's really frustrating, but now I don't waste my time trying to explain it. Thanks for explaining. Hey, Barb. Lawyers taking these cases are really unbelievable. Civil suits are why you can't trust all lawyers' legal analysis. No problem. I understand. But yeah, I'm going to tell you, number one, I'm calling BS on all that. There was, the drugging of kids and because that's where the feds would have started. That is what got R. Kelly in trouble for the exact same thing. He was charged with the same thing, racketeering conspiracy. And the only difference is his had charges that included minors. This one does not. There's no way that the government would have allowed minor victims to just go undiscussed, because that would be even stronger charge. They like to stack as many charges on top as they could. So I'm going to confidently say, I don't think those things were true. Thank you. Thank you, Mermaid. The feds would have brought this forward if it were true. They love a good stack of evidence. Spoken like a true lawyer. You're right. Diddy did not get the full charges. That's true. Now, I can believe that. But what I'm going to say is you at least add the easiest things to prove. That's why they added that prostitution charge. That was super easy. It's way easier to get a conviction for any harms to kids than it is for S trafficking two big old grown women. Two grown adult girlfriends at that. It's going to be much, much more difficult to get a conviction on trafficking a girlfriend, we can all agree, versus a stranger or anything like that. And excuse me, especially the fact that it says literally in the case, it was proven people were lying on him. Did Paul testify? Paul came and went, honey, like a thief in the night. Paul is done. Now they're on a little break. Let's see. Are they back? They are back. Oh, here's what they want to talk about. Hold on. A little sidebar dispute going on here. Let's see it. All right, with the jury out, Garagos says, we want to read in the next page, Miss Ventura saying, I love our free costs when we want them. The judge, they are in evidence, but for some reason we are just reading these to the jury. There was no objection by the defense. Garagos, this leaves a prejudicial impression with the jury. What's your basis for what you want to do? We didn't know they were only going to read portions. You just want to read these 4 messages? Yes. I think it's fair for the defense to read the 4 messages. AUSA, I didn't intend to be misleading. So if your court is saying these 4 should be read, I should be the one to read them. Fine. Now we'll break. This is dumb. So they're doing what I said, which is like the little summary witness would, whenever it was something on the favorable to the prosecution, then the defense would just try to submit something where it was showing that Cassie was something that implies that it was consensual by Cassie. Yeah. We get it. We get it. They're on break. Keep in mind, guys, the defense does not have to call a single witness. They don't. Most cases, there's many cases that rest on the prosecution's testimony. Whatever the prosecution says, I mean, at the end of the, not testimony, but the prosecution's presentation, they don't call a single witness. And instead, all they do is like cross-examine and then discredit the witnesses that were called. I say that to say that's what it looks like due to the fact that it's the prosecution that has the burden of proof. So then therefore, the defense doesn't have to present anything, but what they are going to present is at least one expert to contrast Dr. Don Hughes' testimony. Again, I think that's going to go more towards the trafficking. But what I really have not seen them do is find any way or making even an attempt to discredit the bribery or tampering with the witness or even the prostitution. A lot of people are like, well, the prostitutes, they were consensual. It don't matter. That's like saying someone who purchased drugs from a drug dealer is consensual. They sure are. But it doesn't make it any more legal. It don't make it any more legal. Not in this case where okay. I heard a lawyer say Diddy has spent at least $10 million on his defense. For sure. Yeah. Yeah, because I would think it was at least $1 million a month. How one stopped testifying about how, okay. Yeah, I would think at least $1 million a month because he's got 10 lawyers on that legal team. Each of those lawyers, retainer, is going to be at least $100,000. Some much more. Each at least. Unless the feds are also protecting the billion-dollar ass trafficking industry. Since corrupt as well, Ali Carter, Tania, Jaguar Wright, and Andrea English all saw the minor Simone. Where's Ali Carter? I'm not familiar with her, but I know that I don't know of any lawyer that would call Andrea English to the stand. Her own lawyers don't work with her anymore. I'm not familiar with Tania. And why do you think, fact mission, why do you think the feds didn't call Jaguar Wright? Oh, you got a question. Oh, are they lying? Are those people, unless the feds?
We're going to have to start figuring out what the defense going to do. They said they could go from 2 to 5 days. We don't know how many days they're going to put on their defense. If they even have, well, I guess they got to put something out there, And I wonder how everybody feel today. Do you think, how much damage do you guys think Brendan Paul would do to Diddy? Somebody said Brendan Paul already testified. Am I late? Am I late, people? Am I late? Oh, he's done. Oh, shit. I'm sorry. We started in court late. So did court just start at 8? I am so sorry. And it must not have been very late. Is court over today? Hold on, people. Am I? Yes, they started early. For me, it said on the 20th, it's supposed to go from 11 to 4. Damn. Well, see, I guess I missed it. I'm gonna have to go back and try to either read the transcripts later on today or something. Oh, the cross is about ready to start with Brendan. Is that what you're saying? It finished today at 1. Okay. Hmm. I got 11 to 4. Maybe I wrote down the wrong time. I am so sorry. Oh, somebody says Brendan was pointless. Okay. Hmm, this is crazy. But either way, so it seemed like I could have missed something, but listen to y'all sound like I didn't miss nothing at all. And so now we're just waiting on the cross. Hold on, somebody said he was dismissed. Somebody said we're waiting on the cross. Was he dismissed or are we waiting on the cross? Good morning, Brother Perry. No, no, people say no, he's done. So is the prosecution about ready to rest their case? Or are they putting on another witness? Or are they about ready to try to clean up something? He's done. Cross done. I thought Cross is now or is done already. Well, I guess I missed that. Damn. Hey, I'm so sorry. I was too busy sleeping. Let me see. And I'm not sure what time court is gonna. Let me see. Damn. Okay. I'm looking for updates. 19 minutes. He said taking a break. I guess I had my times crossed up. I am so sorry. Uh, and who is the other witness? I'm not even sure about that because I thought Brendan Paul would be their last witness, unless they're gonna bring one of those summary witnesses back up there. But I thought we was done with summary witness. It finished at 1 Eastern today. Okay, so we got another hour 20 minutes of court. We got another hour and 20 minutes. The defense was horrible. Damn.
Hi, everybody.
Well, I had the times mixed up. They are finished at 1. I got 11 to 4. Then some people said they just started early for some reason.
They're in court now?
Yeah, well, they're on a break now. But Brendan, I guess he didn't stay on the stand long.
What?
No, I guess he
Oh
came
my God,
on.
we missed it. You guys, I'm so sorry.
That's my fault. Let me see
It
here.
really is.
Oh no, I am. I know.
Oh my
I,
God.
I clearly wrote down 11 to 4.
So what time did they start? Our time.
They
They
must have
started at 9. We've missed damn near 2 hours.
see 9 our time. Yeah. Paul
Here,
had
let me
oh,
say this to you guys because I've had a very bad last couple days. I'm under the weather. I don't feel good. And a lot of you guys were sending me the not guilty verdict except for DUI on Karen Reed. Karen Reed, if you don't know who it is a white lady that got falsely accused. She got falsely accused because I think because of who the people were inside the house. It was ex police sergeant and an ATF agent. And what I wanted to say about that, damn, they said he was on the stand 40 minutes. Of course, he's not going to say anything because he's a participant. But let me talk about this Karen Reed case. So I wasn't feeling very good. You guys are sending me stuff. I've been on the couch for like a day, just not feeling well, and I just want to get better because I have a weakened immune system. Once you have cancer, it never. Mine's never returned back. But anyway, so I was sitting on the couch and I saw them celebrating how Karen got off, and she truly was 100%, in my opinion, I've been telling y'all this, innocent. When you tweet When you go to Google and search, how long does it take somebody to be unalived in the snow? Nobody does that, right? But it started out as a grassroots movement, kind of like what's going to happen with this case right here. People don't understand how important blogging is.
Sure, they got an update like 1 minute ago. I guess the jurors coming back in.
Okay.
I thought I just seen that 1 minute, the 2 minutes, something like that.
Oh, I feel terrible. I can't believe I missed it. I'm so upset. I'm so upset. How are we going to blog, Perry, if we're sleeping during the damn case?
Yeah, I know. That's my bad, honey. But that's the time I wrote all the dates and times down, whether it changed or not. That's what happened. But it don't seem like he gave him shit to go with. 40 minutes, and he's supposed
How
to.
do we know? We can't
Right. Well, we got to look at the
give our
transcript.
opinions because we were not on.
Mhm.
Anyway, I was watching the Karen Reed case and how that started out as a grassroots movement. People just kept looking into the case and trying to, figure out who was right, who was wrong. And they really stood by her side because in the beginning, everybody was saying she was guilty. Everybody. When I seen the verdict, it almost made me, well, I did cry because our judicial system needs reform. I've been getting nasty letters saying that I don't like women and all this crazy stuff. First of all, they don't attack Perry, who that was his original thought. They come after Sherelle and they bully. I don't care what you think, what you say. Diddy has to be processed like everybody else. We cannot just throw him off the river because you don't like him. We have to follow the rules. We have to follow the laws. And I'm going to stick by that to the end of this trial. It's not unreasonable to feel or think that this all started with Diageo. All started with Diageo. I feel just like in the Karen Reed case, if you are well connected, because got the people in the house was a FTA agent and also an ex-cop. If you are well connected and have enough money, it's so easy to railroad somebody. I know a lot of people don't like Kim Kardashian, but I like her because if you have a platform, hers is much bigger than mine. I have a smaller one. Always seek justice. It's not like I don't like women. I'm a woman. Duh. I'm a woman. I want to see justice. But all the stuff we've been hearing this weekend, I'm still on the same page. Diddy is not a nice guy. I think that Diddy deserves to go to jail, but the right way. The right way. You're not going to keep railroading people and people don't stand up because it could be them today, you tomorrow. And you would have never thought Karen Reed is everything. She's a white woman. She lives nicely. You wouldn't think that she would get railroaded, but she was. So our justice system is designed for whoever has the most money, and it's unfortunate. Then we'll have to get into prison reform. It's just a mess. It's a mess, and I don't care what anyone says. I stand up for what's in my heart. I don't care what other bloggers say, what they do. But, there is a lot going on behind the scenes at the courthouse. So the true blue media that you call like journalists, they're upset with the bloggers. And they're saying that the bloggers are lying and ruining their craft and putting out salacious stories. I warned you guys about that. Y'all gonna end up getting kicked out the damn courtroom because some bloggers keep lying, and it's going to affect all of us. It's going to affect all of us. Now, Perry, what are some of the things you heard when I was asleep?
Oh, it was just pretty much like I've been trying to catch up on different opinions and whatnot, and people have been going over this video, just breaking down whether like the hallway with Diddy and Cassie, and they're just having that regular time. It do make a little difference when you look at it when it's sped up a little bit, and I don't think nobody purposely sped it up. That they said sometime when you just transition it automatically speeds itself up a little bit. But people said that definitely represent being kidnapped, right? But when you watch it, because when you watch it real fast, it seemed like, yeah, he drug her all the way back to the room. No, he didn't. He drug her around the corner and basically took her bag. He took a bag that he sent, basically it seemed like he basically just wanted this bag back from her. And, so, it was important to sort of watch this.
I have an update. Attorney says the government calls Joseph Cerciello of Homeland Security investigator, 18 years. How many records have you reviewed for the charts in this trial? He says thousands. Attorney, what is the only female name in this chart? He says Jane. Now, go ahead, Perry.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, I'm watching this video and it's like a breakdown. They just go through, see the video. Yeah, he drags her, he goes around the corner, and like she was sitting there, supposed to have been like she was leaving the freak off mad when he came out in the hallway to get her. She was just casually walking down, about ready to leave, putting on lip gloss. But people want us to believe that she was afraid and trying to run away and all this stuff. But he did drag her. And then when they actually show the kick, like he could have missed her once and did kick her, but one kick is still too many. I'm not justifying. I'm saying if you watch it and break it down, it's crazy, but maybe not as crazy as you think. And it definitely don't show kidnapping. And a lot of people want to just go back to that because we know the DV part is not nothing to do with this case. It's the kidnapping part. And that's the reason why it's going to come down to the jurors. Some people going to see what I seen, and it don't matter, or they might see something different. That's all I'm saying about that. So it seems like, no, he was just more concerned about what's in the bag, that she could have just kept going and left on her own free will. That's what it sort of left me with. But people to say that she was kidnapped, I don't think so. So that's all I got to say about that. I'm trying to think what else did I run across. There's a lot of interesting things. I would just browse the net, just to get other opinions, to make sure if it's something I'm missing somewhere. Because I believe a lot of y'all when y'all say, no, Perry, this is the law he did. I know he's a bad guy. We said that 1,000 times. But it's bad when our justice system let a man go through all these years without doing anything to him. But I see a lot of people, it's probably that way because a lot of people didn't take accountability to report a lot of the things he did. So that's sort of messed up with the justice system. Don't protect people for all those years, but the people didn't report these crimes. But it's not cool for the justice system to make up something to penalize, to incarcerate a man for life neither. And I guess that's my whole thing. Because I don't care if he don't go, but just do it the right way.
What was in the bag?
Oh, it probably I don't know what was in the bag. It didn't say what was in the bag, but you could see him. That's all he's worried about. He get that bag and he's stomping back to the room. And maybe his clothes was in it, among other things, probably some pharmaceuticals, But why was she taking the bag? Just to be cool with him? I don't know. That part I don't know. But he was more focused on the bag, retrieving the bag, than retrieving Cassie.
Also, too, so I warned you guys on Friday that there's going to be some very unflattering um, evidence coming out against Cassie. So I told you they have all of these tapes, but the most salacious tape is her drunk, putting her hands on Diddy. They tried to call the cops. She was still acting belligerent. And it shows her as the aggressor. They released one of the tapes this weekend. So we all have to just step out of our feelings and just look at the evidence, because I feel that Cassie should have had the 20 million because of what happened to her. But they're getting ready to do what the defense does, and that is go after her character. It's going to be very hard to listen to if you feel sorry for her. You've got to take yourself out of the information, out of the situation, and look at the evidence. It's going to be very, very hard because I have an update. Attorney says, turn off the public screens, in brackets. All these exhibits must be provided by Monday, June 23rd, not time given. Will be on alert and published. Attorney, what's the name of the hotel? Cerciello says, One Hotel, South Beach, Philippines, 522-2321. $3,050 for one night. So you guys all heard the tape this weekend that they had Cassie. I think she was talking to the dealer. She was talking to someone, and she was threatening their lives. Now, also too, this always happens during a trial. The public gets weary when it's long and dragged out like it's been. People has a tendency to fall off because trials are long, and it really takes a person that's used to covering trials, or likes to read or something like that, to stay with the trial every day. It's going to speed up. I just want you guys to know this. When the defense takes the stand, it's going to speed up. So did we all hear the tape this weekend of Cassie? Who was she cussing out? Hold on, let me see. Threatening a male dancer. So I'm going to use the word dancer now because that's the word they prefer, YouTube, that you use. It says Cassie threatening a male dancer over a leaked video challenges her victim's narrative in Diddy's trial, potentially undermining her credibility as prosecutors near resting their case. The defense could use this to argue complicity. Now, you guys are going to be hearing a lot of bad stuff about Cassie. Listen to it, take it in, and then make your decision. But that's their job, and they're getting ready to, you're going to feel like you're watching a whole different case. I just want to warn you guys. You're going to feel like you're watching a whole different case. Natasha says, don't be hard on yourself for not coming live on time. I think I'm just tired. Like, I feel like I have a fever, but I tried my best to wake y'all up. I blew Perry's DM up. You did? So thank you. Ken, after this, Tyler Perry, I've been seeing the light. This is definitely bigger than Rico. It's an agenda. Okay, so I haven't had time to look at the Tyler Perry thing, but I will get into that. That's crazy. The whole thing is crazy. On first thought, I'm thinking, can you be groomed? A full-grown man that's having these conversations. Are you being groomed, or are you flirting? But I have to get into it a little bit more. It feels like a lot of people, so times are tough for everybody. Don't care who you are, times are tough. With inflation, the cost of living, it's tough for everybody. A lot of companies are laying off. And so, it's much easier to sue a rich person than it is to survive these financial times that we're going to. If you're not facing financial difficulty, that doesn't mean you're broke. I meant like experience that the cost of living has gone up. You're blessed, you're fortunate, and that doesn't mean the rest of us are not going through it. Like the cost of living is insane.
Hmm.
It's insane. I mean, you guys know I take care of a lot of people in my family, and it's just cost of living has just skyrocketed. So did you guys want to hear the tape? Because it's been out for 2 days now of Cassie threatening her escort over these tapes.
Sure, I'm
I
gonna grab some more coffee.
okay. I'm warning you. A lot of negative things when the defense takes the stand is going to come out against Cassie. Some of you are going to get upset. Some of you are going to be surprised. Just don't let the public push you or the defense. Take your time, listen to it, go over it in your head at night or when you're alone so you don't get forced into making a decision. Also, too, this weekend, I was contacted by some guy who watches my channel for the Diddy Trial. Now, I usually talk about female problems or housewives and stuff like that. But so I'm getting a lot of new subscribers. And there's a guy who wants to come on the stand that, not on the stand, on my channel because he was falsely accused of a crime he didn't commit and spent 15 years in prison. Let me start a poll. Does this sound like something you guys would want to hear? It's very hard to listen to. Once you are in prison, a lot of bad things can happen to you. Hold on, I haven't even finished setting up. I don't know if I want to get that heavy into my channel. I don't know. So I'm on a whole different screen, so I can't see you guys. Hold on, let me try to finish setting up. I think Perry forgot to set up. We just hopped on. Oh, okay, that should be okay. Okay, you guys don't forget to hit that like button, please, because these next couple days, people like to, someone sent me a chat. Brendan denied and answered every question with a no. So I got to go back and see it. I hate that I missed it. All right. So now here's the thing too. A lot of updates. I'm sorry, Wayne. I'm in cloud 9 today. It might take me a little bit before I get the updates. Sometimes it's a delay. Here we go. Attorney, and this flight, question mark. He says, Jane by JetBlue from New York to Miami. Attorney, with the public screen off, play Instagram videos, loud music. Attorney, does the metadata match? Cicciello says yes. Hold on, let me go to CNN really quick also. Hold on. Hold on, guys. Oh boy. I'm looking for the Diddy trial. They've got stuff going on overseas with Iran and Israel. Uh-oh, it's not good. That's not good. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay. Lots going on. Like, you can't miss a day. There's so much stuff going on in the world today. Crazy. Babe, is that you?
Yeah, I just made some coffee. You good?
Yeah, I'm trying to look for the updates. I'm getting all this other stuff. Chris Brown, please not guilty to assault charge in the UK. He's in a suit and he must be scared.
Yeah, I don't know, but this is an interesting trial because I can see how people can look at it with some blinders on here or there just because you want somebody to pay for their previous bad things they did, right? But I think fair is fair. We just wish justice would have been handled back then, but this ain't the way you do it by framing somebody with and the RICO. And I know people can spell it out every day, say this and that. It's major things that they throw out there: kidnapping, arson. When we all know wasn't nobody charged with the arson incident. But it's like some people are just hell bent on making them pay. And I can get that feeling that you may have, but right is right. Just like we didn't want him to go all those years doing what he wants to with no justice. You don't want him to get sent down a river with no justice neither. Yeah. So, and we'll see next week. I mean, because everybody's wondering how the defense is going to handle this. Now, for sure, I don't think he's going to hit the stand. But like Sherelle had mentioned earlier, when you have a trial like this and people come on and testify, even though that person may not be on trial themselves, their testimony was. So sometimes to discredit somebody's testimony is to go and talk about them. So Cassie might get some things thrown her way next week that a lot of people say, oh, that's not right. I mean, it's not probably right to talk about what's going on in a man's bedroom either. But that's part of this case right now. So it's weird. And we're going to see next week how it come out. And I mean, because I can go down, I can understand both sides. Like myself, I understand. I'm talking about this. I know Diddy's not a clean, nice guy. But I'm just talking about the charges. I don't think the charges fit. Then other people could feel like I want them to fit so bad just because he got away with so much over his lifetime.
So you were following this weekend. What were some of the things that people were saying? It's not weekend.
Oh yeah, yeah. Basically, they talked about the arson, how people would go and say arson was this, but nobody was ever charged with arson. Well, I know he had to have something to do with that. Could be a feeling of a person, but nobody was charged with it. So, on one hand, you can't want justice and don't issue justice at the same time. He got to be proven, or because last time we checked with that, it was a female. What was it, a fingerprint or whatever?
DNA.
Yeah, right, or whatever, right? So it could have been the ex-girlfriend of Kid Cudi's, but it simply could have been Diddy, but you didn't prove it. That's the point. Like, I'm not saying this bad stuff didn't happen to these women over these years with Diddy. They did not report it. That's why we're here today with this big thing. And most of these women now
Carrie,
are
did
out.
they just adjourn? Did they just dismiss the?
The guy already without a cross? No, hold on, let me see. 14 minutes. No, I don't think so. It's like 7 minutes ago
Okay.
when he was talking about some flight and some metadata. I mean, because I'm sure they would give him cross him before he leaves. But no, basically, I'm just saying all these things like the arson, the kidnapping, and I know those are huge things. It sounds outrageous. It spells RICO. We talked about S trafficking. And technically, yes, I guess if you
Are
want
you
to just
sure?
well,
Okay, hold on. So CNN isn't doing it live today. So let me.
I'm on the main, and the last update was that 8 minutes ago.
Okay.
The one you read about the flight.
Mhm. It says here, Judge Submaranian opted to keep a juror who had outside communications about his jury service. Okay. The judge did not further explain the nature of the communications, and his ruling came without comment. Submaranian said he would prove the parties with his jury instructions later Friday for their review. He said one dispute involves how to present the DRUG predicate under the racketeering conspiracy charge Combs faced. Okay, so let me tell you what's going on with this juror. Okay, so we all know they released juror 6. This was a African American male. Replaced him with a white man. Okay, so a lot of people looked at that as being underhanded because you want as many black males on the jury as you can possibly get. They think, the defense, that this will benefit Diddy. So they made a sly move and brought to the judge's attention that somebody had text messaged juror number 7. Okay, and this message said, what did it say, Perry?
Are you juror number 6?
Okay, so they said that juror should be kicked off and be replaced by a black man. The judge got upset, Submaranian, because he said that in so many words, defense was being underhanded. So this judge is definitely pro prosecution. So now he kept the juror number 7, and they're saying because he didn't want to replace it with a black man. It's no doubt that Judge Submaranian wants to keep his job. We all know what happened to the Southern District of New York. He's being very biased. He's still hanging on to a motion that was filed now 2 weeks ago of the defense proving that all the women were lying in their testimony. We found out that Daphne, they call her Jane, has a history with dating a man that got sentenced to ex trafficking. We also know that some of the women in this ring were blaming her for grooming them, stuff like that. This is why she didn't want her name out. We know that I believe it was Banna had a whole different date as to what happened for the balcony scene. There's evidence to prove that Cassie said when she said that she didn't see the balcony scene, but she put herself at the hotel. There are records that her and Diddy weren't even in town. We have Mia, the one that was writing him love letters saying that she loved him, actually told another person that she would do anything to be in his BED. So the judge has not addressed those things. If anything, it should have been taken care of right away. When he decides to do things that favor the prosecution, he does it on Friday. So in his opinion, it could get talked about over the weekend, and then people are ready to move on to something new. So there's a lot going on in this case that
You got an update.
okay, here we go. Attorney, what's the name? HIS Ciercello says Jessica Ruiz, Combs traveled agent. Attorney, what was the charges for losses and damages? She says 6,000. Attorney, who flew on this one? Ciercello, Jane and Cabral. Jane from LA to Miami to LA. Attorney, Cabral, question mark. He says Atlanta. I don't know if Ciercello is a male or female, but they work for HSI.
Yeah.
Also, too, so I'm gonna have to do some regular videos to start explaining this stuff. So Comey was also a part of the, I don't know how to pronounce her name, Ghislaine, yeah, Maxwell.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say her name. And during that trial, she put out this chart. And in this chart, this is how she proved that it was how a corrupt organization is supposed to work. So you're supposed, if you want to prove that this is a criminal entity, anyway, they're going to use her own chart against her. Let me put it that way. She had Epstein and Maxwell at the top of the chart. Then after that, there were other people that brought in more victims. Okay. And then they took them to these places where they could not leave, like an island where you really can't escape. One time it was a place with armed guards. So they're going to use her own tactics against her. It's a lot going on, you guys, a lot.
Yeah. And then I'm going to read this thing too. Oh, okay. Anyway, this last one I had is basically saying that it wasn't underhanded. Go ahead. Did you have something to say?
Mm-mm.
Oh, that it wasn't underhanded, that they simply went down and the white guy was the next one. Yes, nobody's saying that part was, but the defense and the prosecution know what number these jurors are. If you're sitting in the 13th spot, that means if any available seat comes, that person comes in. So nobody's saying that was, and people gonna have their own opinions on whether just because the guy went and stayed with his baby mama in New Jersey, but was at court every day, but received this summons in Brooklyn. Because I don't see how he would have received the thing in Brooklyn if he didn't have no contact with the person.
Who are you talking about? Juror number 6?
Jury number 6.
And what about the white guy?
People saying that they don't feel that it was underhanded what the judge did. And I'm saying, I guess how you look at it. We ain't saying the process of who comes on next was underhanded. It's how he let the guy go. And I get it. Some people saying no, because if you can't trust what he said here, okay, fine. And I can even see a point on that side. But when it comes to juror 7, when he gets a text message, are you juror 6? Who would be knowing? Who would know he was even on the jury? Unless he was talking to somebody. And was he talking to somebody and the person just, back and forth, hey, are you juror number 6? Meaning, I know you're on the jury. He went to the judge, told the judge, and the judge was like, hey, we'll investigate. Now, we also know who was sitting in the 14th spot. If another juror would have left, a black man would have came to replace him. I think like 41 years old or something. I'm just saying, it's a game they both could play. The defense probably want another black on there. Prosecution don't. Let's keep it real. But as a judge, If you discharge a man for that, and then you let the other juror stay, if you're gonna roll on principle, roll on principle. That's all.
Barbara says, after Diddy got arrested, they had Cassie's makeup woman on Pierce Morgan. Oh, even though Diddy is being held in the detention center, the woman's eyes were wide open and she was still terrified. The makeup woman, what happened? Let's just keep going over, letting you guys give your opinions. Maybe they got the next juror, the replacement, and he's paid to be, okay, that's a good subject. And he's paid to be the odd man out. There's a plan behind all this juror situation for sure. Also, too, they're trying to say that Diddy is paying off jurors. That's a rumor that's out there. It hasn't been proven yet, but that's a rumor that's out there. I don't know. This case is really complicated. It's kind of not black and white. You got to come to the conclusions yourself. There's no smoking GUN. Someone knowing you're on the jury and having conversation is worse than the address stuff. Saying, believe it. Her eyes wide open because she was probably, under the influence. Okay. I didn't see it, but I missed a lot of stuff just in one day. From what I heard and read, Paul destroyed Diddy's whole defense. See, I didn't see it. Thank you, Beverly. Let me know what we missed. I felt like I haven't spoken or seen y'all in days. Well, hi, Renee. It's been one day. It feel like it went like that for me. People can know you are on the jury. You just can't discuss elements of the case. Look, this man is fighting for his life. We had to do what he can. He has to do what he can within the rights of the law, right? I want Sherelle to cover Tyler Perry. I hope that's the next big thing after this case. I was reading the paperwork. It's a mess. Well, Beverly can read because Paul said the same thing as the other assistants. He said the same things as the other assistants. Can you please say again why the black man was let go? Go ahead, Perry.
Okay, basically, they saying the black man was let go. The summons was sent to residents in the Bronx. And I guess when you come on, you fill out your questionnaire. Yeah, I'm from the Bronx. The guy didn't go into detail. Well, I live in the Bronx this day, Monday, Wednesday, but I might be in Jersey with my baby's mama, right? So basically, this is what really happened. Okay, let's just keep it real. Okay, so that's part of the deal. That they saying he got inconsistencies. The judge bring him in. Where are you staying? He might say the Bronx, and he might say here, but the court know where they sent the summons. They didn't send it to New Jersey. But then they'll say, okay, well, if he can't handle the simple part of just following simple instructions by just saying, well, I live here part-time and then I go here or whatnot, because they are starting an investigation. The prosecution started an investigation looking into juror 6 because when Mia was on the stand and was up there, making these things up, probably basically lying, the juror had his notepad, stop, set it down, and just sit back. At that point, they knew, the prosecution knew they had lost him. Okay.
Attorney, what is this? Cerciello says, hotel damage report at London Hotel, room 229. The report says bodily fluids spread on the floor. Ciao. Pictures attached as evidence. Attorney, names column. He says, Jane, Combs, Reggie, Paul, and Cabral. Go ahead, Perry.
Yeah. So in short, what I'm saying is they you know, of course, with your selling. When Neil was talking, I guess there was reports from the crowd that he sort of put his stop taking notes and just sat back. Everybody know what that means. He's checking out because he felt like she was, full of crap. Now they start an investigation, and when you cross that Jersey Bridge, you know how they're taking the things of the picture. They went into a deep investigation to find out. Okay, and then they had some jury team or whoever above the jury started asking questions. That guy didn't answer the questions right. I live in the Bronx. Well, but then I go home to Jersey every day. Now, I guess that could be confusing, but why are you really even having this investigation? You knew where you sent the summons. You could find out where he paid taxes. You're just trying to find a way to get rid of the man. We don't know what none of those jurors are doing. Why don't you do an investigation on all of them? When you get another chance, when now this guy get this mysterious text, how would the defense have his number? And the guy and text messages was really huge. He probably wanted to stay on the jury. Okay, well, I'm about to take this to the judge and say I got this from a number I don't recognize. Who gonna just text you out the blue? Are you juror 6? The judge buy it or whatnot because he didn't dismiss him. And I think just fair is fair at that point, because the judge will tell you, do not talk about this case. Do not communicate this when you leave with nobody, right? That's the jury instruction. Obviously, he communicating with somebody. It wasn't his wife texting you, are you juror 6? And if that was the case, why wouldn't the guy just say, that's my wife? A wife might know you a juror because she see you getting up, going to court every day, right? Certain people gonna know. But to say a weird number, I don't know. It just didn't make sense to me. And if you're gonna keep it clean and try to make it fair and don't leave a chance for a mistrial or anything, why didn't you just let him go? The theory is you didn't let him go because you know who was up next. Just saying. And that would have been a black 41-year-old guy, so something like that. And I hope I answered the question about the jury going home. The juror going home.
So they're saying that Joseph Cerciello is a special agent for HSI. He is testifying now. Okay, so we got that. Let me read the latest update from, oh my gosh, from CNN. It says Joseph Cerciello is a special agent for home HSI. Explained that the charts include the location, individuals' names, and transportation records associated with different date ranges. Cerciello is reviewing charts of evidence complied by the prosecutors to confirm the information in the charts corresponds with the underlying exhibits, which include thousands of pages of text messages as well as phone and financial records. Okay, they did this for the last couple days, going over evidence that we already heard. He said that the 44 entries on the chart range from May 21 to August 2024. The only woman's name on the chart is Jane, one of the accusers in the case. He said before accuser Cassie's lawsuit was filed, most of the locations were hotels. After her lawsuit was filed, none of them were at hotels. They're talking about, I don't know, freak offs, love night, I can't remember, King's night, all that stuff. Cerciello said there were 3 of the events after Combs posted on Instagram video on March 19th, 2024. Remember, Combs apologized for SA, his then girlfriend, Ventura, 2 days after CNN published exclusive hotel surveillance video from 2016, in which Combs appeared to grab, shove, and drag her. Cerciello testified that the charts do not include every time Jane or Combs were at a particular location, but these were the instances with documentation to support it. So they're going over the tape again and the text messages from the tape, okay? Which is important. It's important, but we already heard them earlier from the actual witnesses. The chart Cerciello is testifying about a similar to the chart Delisa Penland, a special agent with the U.S. Office for the Southern District of New York, testified about. Assistant U.S. Attorney Maureen Comey reviewed the chart that pertains to Jane and records that the government says show she met with Combs and a third party. The jury saw records for a trip in December 2021. The charts show flight records for flights to Miami for Jane and an entertainer called Sly. So let me read this. Hotel records for St. Regis, Bell Harbor show a charge of $6,000 in damages. The chart also references text messages between Jane and Sly coordinating with his arrival in Miami. Now, let me tell you guys this. It's really crazy that after the lawsuit, after Cassie's lawsuit, that Diddy and Jane continue their behavior with the freak off / king night. It's another word they called it. That's kind of asinine. You're getting in trouble for the Cassie lawsuit. You had to pay Cassie $20 million. Then you kept doing it. Anyway, they weren't necessarily all at the hotel this time. They were in other places. And they want to show you that they went to these other places. Now, for me, I feel like we're back in these people's bedrooms. I could have had a simple testimony that he continued with the freak offs after the Cassie file, but they're being shown tapes and records and all of this stuff. What do you feel about this testimony? Is it redundant or necessary? Let me see what you guys say. I mean, we've heard this. We are back in these people's bedrooms, and they're back talking about what goes on. And they were actually shown Wednesday freak off tapes. I don't know how I get it. I get it. That's what he does. Now I gotta watch it. Oh my God. I'm not good with that stuff. Wayne said updates. I'm not good with that stuff. Why am I watching this? 3 whole minutes? I can't. All the noises and moans and groans. I'm not too good with that. I'm not good with that at all. I don't see the updates. Let me see. Here, did you get one? Because sometimes there's delay.
No, not yet. I was trying to find something else so I can catch up on this. They're all in now. Brendan Paul is on the stand.
Oh my God, listen to this. They said that. Oh, no. That's good. No.
Hold on. I'm going to show you something. I'll be back.
Hi, Beatrice. Juror number 6 heard 4 weeks of testimony. Racial BS. Oh, you're talking about so listen. I agree. Some people think it is BS why the juror number 6 got kicked off. And it might be unfair, but what's wrong?
Oh, no. I went to that girl, and you can start right there from 2 when they start bringing Paul on and just keep sliding. And you know how she got one.
You want me to read the Paul's testimony?
Oh, no, I was saying you wanted to know about it.
No, baby. Okay, I'll give you a second. You can read it.
Or at least we can catch up later.
Okay.
To see what we missed.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
That was Perry. He wanted me to read for myself so I know what happened today, but that's a lot of reading, and I trust you guys. I mean, so now is the defense being underhanded by wanting number 7 kicked off? it already happened. He's not kicking off 7 and 6 is gone. But I guess some people are just upset about how it all went down. As long as he wasn't with animals. Like, okay, that's really weird. Let's go on. Jurors number 6. You guys are talking to each other. Technically, but maybe they see him as dishonest, the juror number 6. Yeah, it's for me, it's all dead in the water. I want to move on, but other people are want to get their feelings out about it. Angela, ... wrong. You must understand what RICO charges are. I think they're talking to each other. Hi, Yvette. It seemed like this is turning to a Jane case. That's all we're hearing about every day. I mean, they need to stop talking about Jane, move forward, because Jane has those other allegations against the other ex-ring with, what's his name? Peter Nygaard. Will that get brought into this testimony? Because what they're basically are saying is, how can we trust Jane when she's been accused of doing some of the same exact things that Diddy's been doing? This is a complicated case. It's complicated. People say, well, Jane isn't on trial. Why do we talk about Jane? Why do we need to talk about Jane? Because they need to establish that you can't trust her testimony because she's a liar. And I had earlier what the defense was going to do. I heard it was more to it for 6. That's what you heard?
Well, see, because I be hearing things like that too. Somebody said the bailiff overheard that he lived in Jersey.
Wow.
Okay. I'm just saying, well, fine with that, but I'm not exactly sure. But I guess it's always speculation, is what I'm trying to say. And then I think with a trial like this, do you want speculation roaming around? If you didn't want it with juror 6, why would you want it with juror 7? That's why you got alternates. And for the same people who say, oh, it's not uncommon for them to replace a juror. Okay, well, they didn't replace juror 7. A lot of people are going to feel, why didn't you replace juror 7? And some people are going to say, because you knew who was sitting there at 14, juror 14. And that was a black man that's 41 years old, like a younger guy.
I wanted to read this one. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. Because this is how a lot of people feel. Certain people feel. Also, too, the public is pretty much split, 50-50. So there are a lot of channels that say Diddy shouldn't be sent to jail for life. These are the wrong charges. And there's other people who say, like, people text me and say, I don't care if these charges match or not, send them away. Look what he did to Kim. Well, you don't have any evidence on Kim. Look what he did to Biggie and Tupac. We don't have any evidence. You can't just go around putting people in prison because you don't like them. Shaniko says, I don't trust none of them because they were subpoenaed and all have immunity. That's another thing that the defense is going to worry about. Don't worry about that. They're going to bring out each person's testimony and tell you why you should throw it away. Sherelle and Mr. Perry, why y'all had me worried? Glad y'all already missed y'all. I mean, we got the dates wrong, the time wrong. I didn't want to miss anything, but hopefully I can read it later and bounce back because I can't really comment on something I didn't see. Unless y'all want to tell me some good stuff, I don't know. Oh, so juror 7 gets to stay? Juror 7 gets to stay.
Yeah. Because if he leave, then the next guy be slid into that spot. That was the black guy. That's 41.
I said the same thing. I was worried. Like, over here, when I take my polls, how many people think Diddy should go to prison? How many don't? I'm not equal 50-50 split too. Another content creator has 3 people in the courtroom. They call him every day during lunch and keeps up us up to date. What is really going on? Let me tell you what's going on, Barbara. It's a proven fact that some of the other content creators are lying. It's going to affect all of us. It's going to affect all of us. They're making up things. These are the same people that said that Jaguar Wright went to a freak off and had to rescue a minor. These are the same people that said Diddy was making love to his girlfriend and called out his mother's name. It's a lot of false information out there. And I really do think, I kind of agree with the regular journalists. When you put all that out there, all those lies, people don't know what to expect. They don't know how to judge this. Because somebody said to me the other day, because I said, I think that if these are the wrong charges. Someone said, what about the children? What children?
Yeah.
There are no children. Those were lies that you guys were being fed. You got to be really careful where you get your information. And if it's not on the stand and they're saying don't believe it until it's put on the stand. Even though we know that Jane is involved in another trafficking case, I can't use that information that I know about her to judge her until it hits the stand. It's got to hit the stand. That's how I feel.
Yeah, that's about right.
Fat Joe's next. Also, what I was saying was, if you get Diddy sent to prison on these RICO charges, that's changing the goalpost for RICO, and it's going to affect the people that come behind him. There are going to be rich African Americans in succession, right back. Tyler Perry. I think Kanye West is going to end up. So you have to have the right charges. I thought that's what this country was made of. I can't just say I have a law and then interpret it differently for each different person.
Right. Yeah.
Ain't nobody worried about Tyrone Blackburn. Fat Joe will be fine. Fat Joe's being sued by Tyrone Blackburn. Also, too, there are 2 other attorneys that are being accused of stiff-arming rich African-American men. That's Tyrone Blackburn and Tony Busby. Now, Tony Busby's in trouble because he signed a deal with Jay-Z and admitted to wrongdoing pretty much. So. But then he came to the public and said he dropped the case. He didn't really give an explanation why he dropped the case and mentioned taxes today. Now listen, this RICO law was designed for the mob, okay? But they don't even convict a lot of mob members on RICO. RICO's very, very hard to prove, even in this case, because you have to establish that Diddy worked for and profited from a criminal organization. And it's hard for people to realize that Diddy made his money legally because he was a worldwide entertainer. Diddy is not a DRUG dealer. He's just not a dealer, but they're trying to make it seem that he's a dealer. But they have gotten these same mobsters on tax evasion. But we brought someone on the stand earlier to talk about Diddy's taxes. He worked for Diddy. What was his name? Clean cut guy. Do you remember his name?
I can't remember his name, but he said he pretty much stayed on board, stayed on top of all that he did. Of course, he would say that too, though, because it would show how he operated. But tax evasion, yeah, something that they can go after him later. I don't think taxes have nothing to do with these charges. Maybe they could go after him. They can go after a lot of people for tax evasion, I guess.
We know people in the courtroom too. Y'all know who we know. I ain't going there. Um, this one says, people need to wake up, as Perry has been saying from day one. This is a way to illegally take down one more people of color. So let me say this about Perry. Perry has been saying from day one, these were the wrong charges, and you guys really gave it to him. Like, you guys were like, we don't like you, we're unsubscribing. They were really mad at Perry. But let me compare what Perry's doing to the Karen Reed case. The Karen Reed case, she was really about to go down. So they said that she unalived her boyfriend, and they got in an argument in the car at a party. She drove off, and then the boyfriend either went in the house or didn't go into the house. It was a whole case. But I want to say this to you, Perry.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody believed Karen Reed. It took one blogger, Turtle Man, one blogger who thought different and had the time and the resources to follow that case. And I believe, you honestly believe these are the wrong charges for Diddy. Don't let anybody talk you out of what you're doing. Keep doing it. And then as the evidence will come out, people will see where you're going with this. Because I totally wanted Diddy in jail. He asked me what did he do wrong, and I was like, Kim Porter, and all of that stuff is a long time ago. Here we go with no evidence. Attorney says, and these between Paul Arthur and Combs, then Jane. Cerciello says, Arthur Fitness LLC, an ATM cash deposit of 900, then 600. Attorney, and this, Cerciello, more hotel damages. Attorney, Fahim's cell phone was seized. Cerciello, yes. So, and we should just do a whole video, Perry, you explaining why your stance and what's happened so far in the cases since they're doing this. And because a lot of people are getting fed a lot of wrong information.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all of that stuff that these bloggers put out there, these people believe. And the minute you think different, they're going to gang together and try to make you look like the idiot. But keep going. We're going to keep reaching out to the attorneys. We're going to keep proving our case and showing how these are the wrong charges.
Yeah, that's what I believe.
What he was doing would be considered embezzlement from a company, not a RICO enterprise. It doesn't then make the entire company a criminal enterprise. How is the making of money doing any of this? So another thing that we have to look out for, they say you need 2 subcharges to have a RICO case. That's true. But before you can have a RICO case, you have to prove that Diddy's company was a criminal company benefiting from illegal behavior. Not because I served, so I gave Brendan, so Brendan gave me some weed and now that's trafficking. No, it's crazy. And we're going to keep talking. We're going to keep talking. So a lot of people are coming. Sidebar, here it goes.
Yeah.
Here it goes. Your Honor, take that one down. Then in brackets, it says public couldn't see it anyway. Then Garrigo says, can we please have a sidebar? The judge said, take it down, and yes.
And so, and I think they now with the update, they saying that they probably got 13 more minutes left because they're supposed to be finished at 1 today. So, and so the prosecution will roll on until next week, and they're supposed to have been wrapping it up today.
Also, too, that's when a lot of people, it's getting boring. They're reading text messages. They're going over what happened in the bedroom again. It's boring. But when the prosecution takes the stand, from what I'm hearing, it'll be very interesting and must see TV. Hi, Lee. Lee says, hey, Sherelle and Perry, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. However, if Kanye doesn't end up with a case, I really believe 47 is playing in our face. This is a distraction. I don't like to talk about 47 because people get really passionate about their politics, but I'm not talking about him as the leader. I'm talking about his involvement with this case. And a lot of people are saying he's going to pardon Diddy. Now, and he has been pardoning a lot of black people for whatever reason. 47 loves a black criminal. He'll let you off, okay? But I can't help but thinking, if he did that, he will be pulling himself into this case, upsetting his fan base. I just don't see it happening. Perry, what do you think about 47 pardoning? Because he has a lot more to lose from that than Diddy. It just...
No, not really. I mean, he want to be liked. So let's keep it real. He'll do anything to see, calm down, black people. See, I got him. He want to be liked. It's a certain crowd will appreciate.
But he's also the leader of the free world. Why would...
But okay, the leader of the free world. Look at the groups he have pardoned already. Just go and look at it, and I just leave it there.
Oh yeah.
From one edge to the other thing, and he didn't give a damn about what nobody else thought. You know what I mean?
Callie says RICO laws were made for illegal businesses. Okay, thank you. The businesses itself is not illegal. Just because an executive is stealing money from it to do something illegal, that has nothing to do with the business.
Right.
It's really, really hard for people to understand this. 47 doesn't care. Hello, he's canceling Juneteenth.
Yeah, and
Is that true? He's canceling Juneteenth next year? That's what I heard.
Yeah, I guess that's one of those things he'd be talking about. Somebody says an update. Let me see. It just looked like the sidebar stuff.
During sidebar, here's another Jane message that the prosecutors belatedly made available today. I don't know which one that is. We're going over more text messages. And this is my complaint about the text messages is I feel that this is another way of bringing in KK, of bringing in other people that have not taken the stand. Why isn't KK on the stand reading her own text messages and telling you what they mean? This is third party. Why can't she come in herself, quorum, and tell us what she meant when she said this? I think that this is just my opinion, don't know where quorum is. And I don't think quorum is taking the stand, which is crazy because she's a co-conspirator. So it's crazy. Rico using his business fund for freak-offs, not reporting it properly on his tax form.
Right. Is that tax invasion or
did they testify to that, or is that what you're saying, Lorraine? Let me know now. Let me know. Well, you would hope so. Have you guys seen what's been going on this morning? Remember I tell you guys that my son was going to Tel Aviv for work. I was scared out of my mind. I don't want him to go. He canceled whatever he wants. Next year, it would still be a holiday for me. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't cancel it this year. I don't know. He should try to get rid of Black History Month. Let's see what he's had to say. Prosecutors just need to let us know what they will be charging, that they will be charging KK. It would be nice. So we don't have all these people arguing. She's going to take the stand. She's not going to take the stand. I don't know what happened with Fat Joe, but people in chat said, free Fat Joe. I don't know what happened yet.
I've seen some stuff coming out saying that, no, I don't know. Just take it with a grain of salt. I ain't dug into it. That he lived just pretty much the same kind of life that Diddy did.
Fat Joe?
Well, I don't. I mean, Rick Ross
Yeah.
to stay with him.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's taking me off guard. I haven't looked into the case yet, but that's interesting. I think everyone has the right to their own opinion without judgment. I will certainly ride for my husband, and we think otherwise. Now, what those charges should be, we may never know. Great job. Oh, thank you. No, it's not that I'm just riding with Pierre because my husband. He's been researching, he's been talking to people, he's been really involved in it since day one. Lawsuit similar to Diddy's. I told y'all what? Fat Joe, come on. Oh my gosh. I'm telling y'all, you have to make these people follow the law to a T. Because if
Mhm.
you don't, then the law can mean different things to different people.
Right.
That's not why it was created. You have to follow the law. Now, Sherelle, when this all began, he kept defending Diddy. And the minute we asked Perry to tell us what he deserves, he has no answer. Per you, was just focused on being right. I was focused on being right. Perry, what laws do you think he should be charged with?
Oh, did he?
Mm-hmm.
He should have been charged with domestic violence in the state, but it wasn't reported. Um, Maybe he should have been solicited for prostitution, but they didn't. So I don't know what other thing that they should get him with besides that for me.
Y'all video wasn't posted. I'm just not finding the live. We went late. We had the wrong times. So I hope it's there. Oh, y'all got a lot to say. Hold on, let me see. I don't believe that. Fat Joe too hefty to which way. He laid back, eats Cheerios, and smokes and drinks. Child, I haven't heard anything about it. But wow. The 6 white women is not going to charge KK. Oh, you're talking about the prosecutions. They're not going to charge another white woman. Well,
Well,
that's
believe it
what
or
it.
not, and people are saying that I don't know. I'm just saying that obviously she haven't been charged yet. People saying they could possibly charge her after this. Some people saying they simply didn't charge her because she's Jewish. But I don't know. I'm just saying that's what's out there on the street.
Sherelle, in the beginning, was against Perry. Perry had to say until more information proving Perry was right. Helped her change her mind. The feds doing this wrong and should be added to the L column and move on. Yeah, I had to get talked into it because what Perry was saying was right. If you have a law, you have to abide by it. Just don't send the people to jail and rewrite the law to justify that person's crime. That's so true. Because I was judging Diddy and his past. I don't like Diddy. I think Diddy's a horrible person. And I said out of my own mouth, I don't care what they charge him with, just send him to jail. Now, I can't believe I said that because I wouldn't want anybody doing me like that. And our justice system needs reform. Look what happened to Karen Reed, a white lady. People can railroad you like this guy. Let me take the test. Who called me, who wants to come on and talk about how he was railroaded. 60% said yeah, 39 said yeah, no. I feel like bringing somebody on to explain what that's like. Your life is a living hell if you are falsely being accused. Here we go. He says they're back, but due to stop in 3 minutes. Attorney, did Jonathan Perez send this to Fahim? He says, yes. Attorney, and this is about Anton or Antoine. Is it sort by date? She says, please sort it, Miss Becker. So some people call him Anton. I've seen it spelled both ways, maybe Antoine. It doesn't matter. We know who we were talking about. You were railroaded? Yeah, I mean, I talked to somebody who had been falsely accused of a crime, and how he says the media plays a big role into that. So does the blogs. If you're a blogger and you are lying on people, shame on you. Shame on you. Girl, Brendan did not establish that he was not Diddy's mule. He was hired as being an assistant and hired as a straight up assistant. That's what happened? Wow. Because he was giving a plea, he was given immunity also. I don't understand this prosecution's putting people on the stand system. First of all, everybody you put on the stand is in his inner circle, right? They're hostile witnesses. They don't want to be there. Do you think hostile witnesses give good testimony? Then you didn't vet these people. You did not vet them. They have a background that is horrific, all of them. They're either addicts, attached to another ex-trafficking ring. I'm not understanding this. And we cannot just say, here's his update. As they near end of the day, prosecutors just belatedly made available exhibits, including this from Combs. So they're putting out text messages to the public. That's weird. Who does that during a case? You usually get all of the evidence that was presented at the end of a trial. They're doing this in the middle of a trial, and the judge isn't saying anything about it. He's granting it. What are you doing? I'm not even horny no more. Cassie said that. I don't understand this strategy. Do you, Perry?
Yeah.
What is the strategy?
Everybody assumes if a person cave into a $20 million lawsuit within 24 hours, it must be something there, right? With Diddy's background, everybody think, oh yeah, whether you like him or don't. A lot of people don't like him and feel he did a lot of things. The prosecution just felt like if we just keep bringing this filth up over and over, it shouldn't be hard to take down a black man, because a black man ain't gonna be given that same opportunity 9 times out of 10 as a white person. I'm just, and it's not a racial thing. It's just, they had to be so strong. They wanted to stay in the gutter, right? And that should be enough to take this man down. That's what I think their plan was. That, typically you'd be crossing, dotting your I's, crossing your T's. But no, if we just stay in the gutter, and with his own reputation, it shouldn't be hard to take him down.
Listen to this. This is absolutely horrible. I can't believe I said this myself. Someone says, Diddy should still go to prison, even if it's false. He is a horrible person. I have to remind you, is it Jesus or Jesus? I don't know because Sean named her son Jesus. That's a horrible thing to say. It's a horrible thing to do. People should only go to prison if they've broken laws. You cannot change the goalposts, because I don't think you would like it if you were falsely accused of something and they put you away for a long time. What's the purpose of having laws if you're not going to follow them?
And then too, even with that, I mean, we can't go back and say,
okay. Attorney says, who sends this message? KK, attorney. What does Jonathan write to Fahim? He says, He says, I don't know if you're holding 10K. Fahim said, trying to get some more now, attorney. And this 6/20/24, 1 year ago today. Can you believe we live in a society? First of all, I said the same thing, sir, but then I had to check myself. Just because you don't like somebody, you shouldn't put them in prison for the rest of their life. Just because a person's skin color is different than yours, you shouldn't put them in prison for the rest of the life unless they did something. Just because it's the popular thing to do, you shouldn't put someone to prison in life because the masses say it should be done. This is the most horrible thing that a person can say.
Well, yeah, I mean,
taking the things off. I'm reading them.
Oh, okay. I ain't do nothing.
Did I do that?
Yeah, it wasn't me. My hand's right here.
Yeah, what he's saying, this person is saying, is to break the law. Listen, the law doesn't favor, in our opinion, in our way in the first place. But you want to give somebody a license to send people to jail because they don't like you, because they don't agree with you, because you feel that they committed another crime. Why isn't this right now the Kim Porter trial? Why isn't this the Kim Porter trial? Why isn't this the Biggie trial?
Right.
They didn't have any evidence. Can't accuse somebody of unaliving somebody if they're not put in front of a judge and they go through the right procedures, just like everybody else. You cannot do that. You might feel a certain way because if the tables was turned and they took you away from your family, you will be asking for mercy. You will want people to say, help me, I'm being falsely accused.
Yeah.
Court has ended. Yes, Your Honor, I think it's a good stopping place since we are ending early today. Judge says, jurors, you may leave. Don't read anything. All rise. Judge says, how many more on direct, Miss Comey? She says, to midday on Monday. I hope Miss Geragos can finish cross by the end of Monday, Judge. Then Rule 29, Mr. Agnifilo, question mark. He says, we'll be on the shorter side. We'll tell the government over the weekend. So they want to know how long is the defense testimony going to be. Now, they can give you a date, but just like the prosecution, it's going to run over because everybody's eyes is on this case and, both sides are going back and forth, even reaching outside the case, looking at jurors. This is going to be a mess. But I hope that person that said, send them to jail for anything, reconsiders their thoughts.
Yeah, and, and I get it. Well, I think sometimes people say that loosely because they just frustrated and they just feel like, hey, he did it, send him anyway. But if that person wasn't just calm down and think about it, they wouldn't go back and say, whatever happened to these women, they deserved it. They wouldn't say that. So, I think some people just frustrated. Maybe I'm giving excuses. Maybe they meant it. You know what I'm saying? But I think sometimes people get frustrated and say those things. Maybe the person didn't mean it, especially when they was using Jesus and stuff in the thing. So hopefully they didn't mean that. Like
it
that.
Could be Jesus, Harry.
Yeah, that could be.
Let's read it. This case is simply about a DV case seen across the world in a hotel, but the statute of limitations has run out, and now we got here to try for a conviction. She's absolutely right. This is a DV case. We all see that very clearly. Nobody's arguing that case, but they're doing like Jesus or Jesus said, let's just get them on anything, and now they're breaking the law.
You got a little update.
So the jury's gone, and now this is just the attorneys, and I'm assuming getting ready to argue. Agnifilo says, if the government rests at the end of Monday, I think we'll rest Tuesday or Wednesday. Judge, I'll send the proposed chart today. If you send edits Tuesday evening, we could do the charge conference on Wednesday and closing on Thursday. So also I'm hearing that the defense isn't going to call any witnesses. I think they're going to go over everybody that testified. They're going to pull out those the evidence that they gave the judge saying that this person lied. I think they're going to make them explain themselves, because how could you not have any other witnesses? And I think that's a bad move. Judge says you could use the courtroom until 2:30, Mr. Donaldson. If needed, put a written application in the docket. So they're going to stay in the courtroom, the attorneys, and they're going to go over more stuff till 2:30 Eastern. I feel if you knowingly partook in the crimes, paid your time, learned from your wrongs behind bars, so when you see daylight again, you will be transformed for the better. So you want to just put Diddy away and hopefully he'll learn. Sometimes you don't learn. Sometimes that makes you a better criminal, but you're still breaking the law. You have to put him to jail for breaking the law. So you have to put him away with the right charges. With the right charges. And I will say that till I'm blue in the face. I have no qualms about saying that. So the jury is adjourned. I'm going to try to see if I can stay behind and hear what the lawyers are saying. Okay. All right. Hopefully we can get some more info on what's going on in the courtroom. So what are we arguing about in the courtroom? Well, not even juror number 7 anymore, because the judge said that that juror will stay. And the defense argument is they feel like they should have the number of African Americans that was intended to have. They picked those jurors for a reason. They said if they could go down the list, sure, there'll be reasons to kick a lot of people out, but this is too late in the game. So they wanted to kick out juror number 7, who got this text message. And if juror number 7 was going to get kicked out, then they will be replaced by African American man. So I'm not bringing race into this, because people say you're always pulling the race card. This is the defense argument. They feel that racism is taking place right before their eyes. And I wouldn't be so hesitant to dismiss everything. Brian Steele, who everyone realized, who just came off of the Young Thug trial. I watched that trial. When I went into it, I said, Young Thug needs to be put away for the rest of his life. And he ain't nothing but a thug. And he's unaliving people, because those rumors are out there. But I sat there and looked at the evidence and was like, wait, this all stems from an overzealous African-American woman, Fonnie Willis. If we have laws, we must follow the law. Mark said, if the government arrests Monday, they will arrest on Tuesday or Wednesday. I just have to say that the defense knows what they're doing. Doesn't sound good, but that's what they choose to do. And Diddy must know what's going on. He's paying them. The defense is tripping. I mean, doesn't sound good. But you know, the defense are I won't call them sneaksters. I made that word up. The defense will tell you one thing for a certain outcome. Right, like they would go every morning disputing evidence when they know that all their evidence was supposed to be turned in on the April 27th. Yeah. Every day. And the judge let them do it.
They play the game.
Go ahead.
No, they play the game they know typically they can play. Sometimes it backfires on them, but they know both sides are high-powered attorneys, even for the government. You know what I'm saying? But they both play this cat and mouse game. They both gonna try things to see if it can go in their favor. And you know, at that point, you win some, you lose some. Now, I think the defense is also setting up things just in case any good attorney always set it up for the appeal if things don't go your way. And I think they're going to break it all down next week and maybe take away from all the bedroom activities and put it on RICO and try to shave it down so the jury definitely know, RICO is way bigger than soliciting. Go ahead.
Barbara says, so y'all don't think the government knows what RICO is? Absolutely not. They know what it is.
They know what it is.
They're changing the definition of RICO. This is our complaint. And let me say that for a minute. I appreciate this question because a lot of people, because we think different than them, attacking us, acting like a bunch of thug hood rats because you think differently is out of line and disrespectful. If you can ask me a question like this, I will tell you exactly what I'm thinking here. Nobody can prove that Diddy made his money illegally. This is not a criminal entity. Can you, Barbara, tell me how he benefited criminally from his money? Barbara, please answer that question. How did Diddy make his money illegally? How did he benefit illegally, the whole group benefit illegally from a company that is basically just a storefront for other crimes? Please explain that to me. And just because I support one person today and change my mind the next day, that is foolish behavior. You said at first, Sherelle, that you thought he should go to jail. Yeah, and when I know better, I do better. But please prove to me, Barbara, and I will wait for your response. How did he make his money illegally? Because we want to hear different sides. I want you to just prove it. Now, do I think that Diddy had anything to do with Kim Porter's unaliving? I personally do. But if there's no evidence, I can't just put you in jail for the rest of your life because I feel a certain way. Court is about proving if a person is wrong or right, if they broke any laws. Don't understand why that's so hard for some people and why they get so nasty if you think different. That's why I'm going to bring a person on. I'm going to bring a person on that was railroaded, went to jail, I believe he said 15 years, falsely accused of R-ing a woman. It took that woman to get a dose of conscience to come forward and say, I lied. And even when she said she lied, there's no penalties for lying. Right. They will just let you go.
And that's
15 years of his life. Go ahead, Perry.
That's the part I think too. For all these people who saying justice, lock them up, do you guys think that for people who perjure themselves or falsely accuse a person should be held accountable with some kind of jail time also if find out because if the person is proven guilty, they do time. If they're proven innocent, the other person just get to walk away after smearing your name and putting your life on the line. I think it should be a fine balance. And then we won't have all these cases just frivolously just thrown out there, right?
Also, too, I think this case is really emotional because it touches DV. Mm-hmm. It touches past crimes. A lot of people feel that, right? So they feel like I went through DV, that happened to me, and my guy got away. Mm-hmm. You're not talking about your situation. And a lot of people are really too fragile to kind of judge this case because they don't see a case with Diddy and Cassie. They see themselves and their accuser.
Yeah, it's probably too triggering.
It's very triggering for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And they judge it from their situation, what happened to them. I remember when has nothing to do with your case, even though I feel sorry for you. And no person should go through DV. You have to heal yourself because we all know I got that one friend who was AR'd in childhood and she hates all men. All men can do anything good. And she just is getting further and further out there. That's why I stopped talking about her. She's like, we got to get Diddy and we got to get this one, that one. She still hasn't dealt with her own inner demons. Until you heal, you're going to see yourself in that situation. But we're not talking about you or your situation. And it could come across really harsh, me saying, you got to take you out of it. Because they see their accuser. And then they get out there, like my friend, she's out there. She's hope, we've all men suck. I hate men. I'm sorry you went through what you went through. And I said this to her personally, but all men are not bad. But she looks at that because of what happened to her. She can't trust a man. That means you're not healed. You got to get healed. If you see yourself in this Diddy case, tell yourself, no, I still see my accuser. I got to get healed. Diddy is in a lot of trouble, no matter how much y'all downplay to overturn a law. But recognize that crimes that is going on in the industry will never stop if something is not done about it. Lorraine, you're taking other situations again and blaming it on Diddy. Are there a lot of Harvey Weinsteins out there? I think I know better than anybody in this chat, because don't forget, I have a family member in the business. These women come out here, they don't have enough money to sustain themselves. They think, let me do a little entertaining, making their money that way. And some of them are big actresses that you would have never suspect. But then once that starts, then the substance abuse comes in and it just turns into a big mess. I cannot send anybody to jail. Lorraine, would you want me to send you to jail? Because I say that you did bad things to men. It has, a law has to be proven. And I hate that, Lorraine, that you think that way. Get him on anything for the stuff he did in the past, which will be good for this case. But for you. But what about other cases? And like I said, when you start changing the law to fit these crimes, please take a look. Who's been charged with RICO in the last 3 years? Please do your research. Only African-American men. I know that's hard for a lot of people to understand because they're looking at their accusers and my accuser got away. We're not talking about your situation.
And nobody never said that he wasn't in big trouble. Obviously, he's on trial for a RICO that can put him in jail for a long time. So who's downplaying what? We ain't downplaying it. We just saying, hey, we don't think the charges fit or what they want to charge him with. That's it.
And I'm sure, Lorraine, if I looked into your history, you've done things wrong in your life. I don't know. I'm just going to make something up. Let's say your children said you didn't parent them well. You wouldn't want to go to jail just because someone said you were a bad mom. I don't even know if you have children or not. I'm giving an example. You have to have rules. Lorraine, they are not trying to overturn the law. They are trying to change the law to fit certain people, such as blacks.
Right.
Nothing wrong with him being freaky or gay. That's another thing. There were tapes putting out there, supposedly him making out with Meek Mills. Y'all remember that?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. These people that put out false information so they can make money, there should be a penalty for you lying. These people really believed you. If you are gay, that is your business. No security guards should out you. That's your business. Now I'm going to say what you need to do in your bedroom. If you give them the right to do that, they're going to do everybody. And the next thing you know, gay people will be going to jail for what they did in their bedrooms. That's just not cool. But he moves very deceptive. Hid it for many years, using women because he didn't really like them. Preferred to play with men. There's nothing wrong with being gay, Lorraine. Please, I'm not trying to yell at you. Let me calm down. Lorraine, just think about the things that you're saying and the things that you're doing. You might not yourself. You probably won't do woman on woman. But should the person go to jail for that? Should we be prosecuted for that? Care if he's gay or not. What's that have to do
But you got to remember, just because you subpoena someone doesn't mean you actually want them to take the stand. You don't ever want someone to take the stand that you don't feel is going to be helpful to your case. And then one thing I thought about KK is that somebody said more oil, is that with KK, well, we got to think about the fundamental golden rule. You never ask a witness a question that you don't know the answer to. So to that end, in part, I don't believe that the feds know what KK's answers are going to be, because KK has never sat down with him. I do not believe that KK has ever sat down with him. I'm going to explain to you why. KK has the same lawyer as Diddy. That was confirmed in a letter to the court June 9th. KK was represented by Tinny Garagos. So is Diddy. We can all agree, Diddy has never sat down with the feds, and his lawyer would never let him sit down. And like, if you watch episodes of the first 48, right? Diddy has never sat down with the feds and told him anything, because why? They can only be used against you. Even if there's what they call a proffer, which is where you get to give some evidence, okay? Stay with me. Same with KK. I don't believe, now I don't have 100% proof of this, but I don't believe KK sat down with Diddy, with the feds and told, and nor would most attorneys advise that. They would not advise that. Because what happens is this: when you do what's called a proffer comes before immunity. You go to the Fed's office, and in that instance, they said, tell us everything you know, and we won't use it against you. But there's like a little asterisk next to that, because the law actually says, we won't use what you tell us in there against you. We won't use that information. But if we are able to confirm what you say through independent sources, so then they can use that information. So if you tell us that there was like a substance deal with you, Diddy, and Brendan Paul, and then they go to Brendan Paul and be like, hey, Brendan, did you ever do a substance deal with KK? Diddy? And he's like, oh, yeah, let me tell you all about it. They're able to use that. So I say that to say, when you're facing big charges, which potentially KK is, you're not going to sit down with them, because you're not about to sit down with them and you have not interviewed with them. They don't know what you're going to say, and therefore they're less likely to call you. They're probably not going to call you. You really want to put KK on that stand, this woman who is so loyal to Diddy, who Diddy pays for her lawyer probably to this day. You really think she's going to tell you, get on that stand where you don't know what her interests are before and say anything? One of the viewers in the chat earlier today talked about Mia, how Mia testified that she met with the feds 27 prior times. Perfect example. She met with them, and that's what the feds do when they are building their case. They meet, and by meeting, it's talking on the phone or it's in person. They do that. Yeah, KK knows something about Diddy that no one knows, and I bet she has her own blackmailing. Ooh, could be. But as a result, number one, the feds are not going to call her as in the case in chief because of the fact they don't know what she's going to say. Now, could they call her for a rebuttal witness? So a rebuttal witness is when Diddy, the prosecution is about to rest today. And then Diddy's side gets to present their defense. Diddy could call her. I don't believe that he will, because she is a co-conspirator. And if she is one of those people with the sealed indictment, which I do believe, if she takes the stand on Diddy, she takes away her right to plead the fifth in her own trial. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? Do you hear how serious that would be? That would mean if she takes the stand in Diddy's case and testifies, she waives her own right to plead the fifth in her own case. Ain't no lawyer finna do that. No. But that's only if she's a co-conspirator defendant. Then that's what I want, let me know if this makes sense, if you're following. In addition, if she's considered a sealed co-conspirator, so in court, the prosecutors have affirmatively said she is a co-conspirator. I was sitting in the courtroom, and there were some arguments about documents getting in, and the prosecution specifically told the judge the basis that they believe it was admissible is that even though KK won't be testifying, won't be coming to court. Oh, and by the way, they're saying this from their understanding also that the defense was not going to call her. She was saying it should still be allowed in based on co-conspirator theory because she was a co-conspirator. So again, as a result, she has been listed as a co-conspirator. So as someone who's probably on the sealed defendant number 2, because Diddy is sealed defendant 1, so she could be sealed defendant 2 or 3, we don't know. Either way, the prosecution can't force her to testify. Or if they do, if they call her, she's just going to get up there and plead the fifth, which won't help the prosecution at all. So in summary, number 1, as a co-conspirator, she's likely one of these sealed defendants. You can't force someone who is a sealed defendant to testify in another defendant's case, because then that would waive their own rights to plead the fifth in their case. In other words, they've already testified. They're going to do that. And their testimony can be used against them. And then secondly, they have never met with KK. They met with all the other witnesses here. They have never sat down with KK. They don't know what she's going to say. And they probably feel like whatever she would say on that stand is going to be not helpful to our case. So why risk it? Why risk it? Okay, let me see these. Oh, and thirdly, shake your astroglide. We in class right now, real quick, before we wrap up. We're in class right now. Remember, guys, she's got civil suits. She's got 3 civil suits pending. One of which is related to, like, in civil court, allegations of trafficking and stuff. If she testifies in the criminal case, every single word she says can be used against her in the civil. They're going to tag that butt for some money. She's being sued by one person for millions related to setting up free calls and stuff. But that's what her testimony is going to have to be. We all know she did that. So as a result, every word she says is going to cause her to be millions, potentially, to civil victims. Yes, she's in the Little Rock case. There's 3 of them. So that's how it works. That's how come a lot of times people file a civil suit, and then when the criminal charges come, they lay back, wait for the criminal case to be resolved. And then once the criminal case is resolved, if there's any testimony pertaining, all that testimony can be used by the civil case. So it makes it a lot easier to prove up that civil case. It says, how much help will she get? Diddy is not going to pay her lawyer bill. I think he's currently paying it. Yeah, he's paying it right now. She will be destroyed in court. Hope she stacked her. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I hear you. I hope she stacked her coins. I think she's probably terrified and doesn't know what to do. Where's she going to go work right now? Like, she can't really do too much. Cassie cooperated with the feds because they ultimately want Diddy to go down. KK really loves the money. At this point, she's so wrapped up in it. So then the part of the question was like, okay, well, why did they not try her simultaneously with Diddy? And there's a number of reasons that could be true. There's a number of reasons why they may not have wanted to do that. And it includes the way they have it structured now. They have tied her up. She cannot testify and help Diddy because she would. She can't testify for Diddy without screwing her damn self. Because number 1, each side at this point has had to provide their witness list. And I found out like a week or 2 ago, KK wasn't testifying from an insider on the defense. I'm just saying. And I said, somebody said, I love how calm you are giving legal analysis. Thanks. But if she got up there, whatever she would say, obviously would be there to help Diddy, and it would be used against her. And not only that, then they would take her testimony. They can get it for perjury. They can get it for all kinds of additional things if she got up there lying. It's definitely a double-edged sword. So in the end, she's in a bind, baby. Joe, I'm in a bind. I'm in a bind. KK's in a bind. And KK may go to jail based on her loyalty. And I don't think anybody will feel sorry for Miss Thing. So I'm your legal bestie, Attorney Simone. This is the wrap-up analysis of KK, why she's likely not testifying. She could, again, come in as a rebuttal witness. But if she does that, all of her testimony can be used against her in civil cases where she's being sued for millions. And all of that testimony could be used in a criminal case against her, as well as it would waive her right to plead the fifth because she done got up there, opened her mouth, and opened up the issue. I'm your legal bestie, Attorney Simone. I break down cases on social media and YouTube on my YouTube channel called Girl, Is That Legal? Now, let's get on back. Now let's get on back to the testimony, wrapping up the prosecution's case. So here's what we got. They are back from break, I believe. Okay, great. Let's see. I need to go to the pool. There's so much work to do. Oh, here we are. I see the problem. Share. All right, AUSA says, all right, let me read this again. I had read the wrong version. Miss Ventura says to Combs, you want to party and have a good time? I have to focus or I'm never becoming anything. You treat me like a hooker for 10 years. I love our freak offs when we both want it. So first of all, apparently I'm not the only one who loves the word hooker, especially in reference to men. They never get to be called that. But yeah, I would agree. Have y'all noticed that with Diddy, he treats his Asian girlfriends like hookers? Cassie, Gina. I don't know how he treats Baby Loves Mama. Hookers. Hookers. He treats them all that way. Now, he might do that. I don't know. He might have done that with Young Miami, but I think she really liked it. So I don't know if it counts. All right. Oh, we got a new one, guys. Here's the final witness. Wow. Shake the Astro Glide. It is almost done. Government calls Joseph Cercello of Homeland Security Investigation, 18 years. How many records have you reviewed for the charts in this trial? 1,000. Oh, Jesus. What is the only female name in the chart? Jane. Oh, God, is that spilling? Hold on. It's very annoying. I don't know how much more. Let me tell you something right now. We're going to see what this man's talking about, but I'm not finna sit up here. I'm not finna sit up here and be doing charts all day. That's not the way my ADD is set up, especially I'm at an all-inclusive resort. Oh, you see that? There you go. There go the beach. Maybe I should turn it. Yeah, I'm going to do that. This is pissed me off. We're going to put it this way. Give me a moment. Come back. Sorry, guys. There's a little technical difficulty there. Uh-oh. I do. I'm back. Wait. Sorry, my ADD is just really aggravating me. Come on, guys. Come on. We're ready. Come on. I want to share the view with you guys. We all deserve to be on the beach together. There's a lot going on here. We all deserve to be on the beach together, okay, guys? We're on vacation. Ow! My foot. Okay. Isn't that better? I don't know what happened to the damn screen. What happened? Here we go. Okay, we're ready. See, guys? Don't underestimate me. Look, you see the water? Oh. right, now hit that super chat though. Ooh, here we go. Here we go. Oh shoot. Yeah, because this is expensive to be here. All right, we're gonna wrap it up. Let's see what we've got going for the day. We've got Joseph on the stand and Joseph. Thank you. Am I single? Depends on who's asking. Hold on. I'm actually being stalked by someone on the internet. Maybe in my members only live, I'm going to share some of those tweets. It's really crazy. All right. So Joseph, the investigator, has taken the stand. Joseph Cercello of Homeland Security, 18 years. This is what he looks like. Oh, he looks really happy to do his job. Oh, he looks a little sunburnt. I feel like I've seen him in the cafeteria at court. All right. So that's who we've got. Let's get a little update here. Come on, Joey. So he's got a set of text exchanges, but the only name in the exchange is Jane. Subscribe, guys. It says turn off the public screens. Uh-oh. All of these exhibits must be provided by Monday, June 23rd. No time given. It says, what's the name of the hotel? One Hotel South Beach, Philip Pines, 522. It was the 22nd to the 23rd. And it says, ooh, $3,050.90 for one night. Oh, it sounds like these are going to be, foundational statements. Homeland Security reviewed thousands of records. Only girl is Jane, likely referring to her as a key victim or witness. It says the prosecution is tying her directly to the evidence. Hey, guys. I don't know why you guys why y'all tell me what other creators are doing. Only person I care about is Mims, honey. I do like it though when you guys are like, oh, well, a lawyer said this. I like legal analysis from other lawyers. And I like questions from Offman's. It says, let me show you something. Jane is realizing that she was trafficked in real time. That's how she is conflicted. Well, I'm conflicted too, waffles and biscuits. I still don't, I don't believe Jane was trafficked. She might have been mistreated, but I don't think she was trafficked. Is his career over? Why would someone settle if they're not guilty? Oh, we're joking, right? Someone said fire Marshall Bill. They look like him. Jane was jealous about Diddy taking the young hoes on the red carpet. You're gonna get Mims beat up. All these guys in the chat are jealous now. Oh no, Mims is my buddy. We are friends. We do not do it to each other. He gives me dating advice, and he basically thinks I'm a ridiculous person, and I love it because usually I am. A lot of times he'll talk me into making better dating decisions. I says, why isn't anyone bringing up the tunnels under Diddy's house? Didn't Cassie talk about it in her testimony? I don't know. I guess they felt like it wasn't relevant to any of these particular crimes. I guess if they could have, for example, found he had drugs flowing through there, substances, that perhaps that could have been helpful. But as Jane referred to Diddy's Toots as her lover, she wasn't coerced. One final thing, guys. I watched on some source that they were claiming that either Cassie or Jane had intimacy with the hookers without them there. I never heard any of that. I never saw that. And also to clarify, the hookers were not trafficked. It's only Jane and Cassie. Yeah, Cassie's Asian. Yeah, Cassie is Filipino and other stuff too. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to tell you this. and I mean this with all my heart. Hold on, let me wash this camera off. Oh God, I should have been broadcasting like this all day. Damn, this was beautiful. But let me tell you something. The way my ADD is set up, I first of all run out of medication, and they cannot fill my controlled substance prescription in this country. So unless I go get some street drugs, well, it wouldn't be street, pharmacia. I don't really trust pharmacia Adderall because, come on now. I can't sit here and listen to this man reread or regroup text message of Jane doing anything, because at this point, I think Jane's claim is weak based on the facts presented. I also feel that Jane, if he gets convicted for Cassie, if he gets convicted for Cassie, there is a chance he will get convicted for Jane. There's no way he will be found guilty of Jane's situation and not guilty for Cassie. So as a result, whatever happens there, it happens. We'll analyze it after it does. But I'm going to put on my bikini and get the hell up out of here, y'all. I love you. I hope you have a great day. I can't do no much more of this. I'm not going to get no pharmaceutical, no Mexican street pharmaceuticals. Nah, that'll give you bubble guts, nutty. I'll probably lose my short-term memory. I'm in Mexico. Somebody was having a birthday. I don't even know who it is, y'all. Somebody just told me, like, hey, girl, you can go to all-inclusive for Juneteenth. I was like, okay. Sure did. And she didn't even come. She's not even here. So I've been making friends with strangers. I met a black man in first class. He was very nice, and he took me away to my hotel. He stayed here, too. Maybe that's like, don't do that. All right, well, if I come up missing y'all, what's going on? Somebody at the Royalton Chic killed me. Aside from that, talk to y'all later. Bye.
Look, I done got busy running around here and thought I was on live. So that's it, day 27 of the Diddy Trial. I don't know. So we had the mule on the stand today. So he said he wouldn't, that was just a little bit of his job. So they only questioned him, and I guess maybe I don't know what's going on with this. So that's it. That's all I got. Y'all have a great Friday, and enjoy yourself and be safe. Bye-bye.